Hospital report as pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV and welcome to this, the 67th comments reply video, the video in which I get to reply to your comments, as the name suggests. Now, the reason I do these videos is basically because you viewers often take the time to give me feedback via the comment section on my YouTube videos, all of which are open. And you, a lot of you, you take a lot of time to take the time to do that and show me the courtesy to do that. Some of you put in very long, complicated comments, making a lot of points. As a result, I feel I have an obligation to reply, but I don't have time to reply by text. So I make these videos instead because it's basically quicker. Now, my comments reply videos can sometimes be very long. I mean, they get up to 9 hours. And some of you might think, well, hang on a minute, Ben. Well, you replying to my comment by making a 9-hour video. I'm not going to watch a 9-hour video just to listen to you respond to one comment I make. Well, guess what? You don't have to. Because underneath the comment that I'm responding to, I will put a message that says, thanks for your comment. It will be answered approximately within the first, second, third, fourth hour, the hour in which I'm replying of this video, which I'm replying to your comment, the hour of the video I'm making now. Which means the longest you're going to have to watch, basically, is 1 hour. And it's the longest you'd have to watch. And put it on while you're making dinner or something, if that bothers you that much. Secondly, another good reason for it is that basically I don't make 9-hour comments reply videos anymore. They used to be, because I used to do them every 2 months or so. Now I do them probably every 3 weeks to a month. So they're a lot shorter than 9 hours. Some of them are barely over 2 hours long. So that's another reason why it's not a big deal. Secondly, I enjoy doing. Another reason I do these videos is because I enjoy doing them. I think they're very good videos. There's some I'm very proud of some, and I think they're very good. What's more, you, the viewers, I know a lot of you enjoyed them too, and I know some of you watched them all the way through, even if you've never made a comment. So that's what this is all about. So what I'll do is I'll go straight to my list of comments here. And begin where we left off last time. Well, this is reply to comment 66, Gary Robinson, who says here, hey Ben, glad to hear you got your voice back, mate. Thanks, Gary, much appreciated. Yeah, it did come back. A little bit of sea air at Lytham St Anne seemed to do it the world of good. And Gary says, P.S. First, this month's tinfoil hat prize goes to me. I will send you one over straight away. I'll make it from the best Baco foil I can find. Steve071 says underneath, wear it with pride and dignity, Gary. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, so now we come on to another. Oh, we've got a thread already, and it's reply to comment 66. Yay. And we have here Ravenhill Villain. Blimey, he's got a new name. He's got another name. Ravenhill Villain. It starts with like a crucifix sign, and it says Ravenhill villain of the Pentagram, 1968, and another crucifix. Excuse me. Hi Ben, I wonder what you think about all these channel migrants coming here illegally. It's now a staggering amount of people, daily I believe. What will become of our country? Now, you've asked me this question before, I think, Ravenhill, or some people have. My answer, I can repeat the answer, I don't mind repeating the answer, is I'm very disturbed by it, very disturbed indeed. I suspect that it's actually, you say it's coming here illegally. They're kind of being brought here. I know that the government has recently boasted that they've been giving sending aid to the Albanian government to try and prevent it. Most of these people apparently are coming from Albania. But it's more likely they're paying the people traffickers who bring them here. So this is something engineered. It's something being done deliberately for a purpose. The purpose is, as you said to what will become of our country. They wanted the New World Order. There won't be any countries in the New World Order. There'll just be a global state in which there will be no relationship at all, except that between the individual and the state. As George Orwell said, there will be no love except love of Big Brother. That's the ultimate goal of the New World Order. It's up to us to stop it. The migrant crisis is a part of that, and it's awful. I mean, there was this awful situation. A guy threw a petrol bomb, I think, at a hotel where there's some migrants staying. There's no point getting angry with the migrants themselves. I mean, they're being used. They're being used in this situation. So the people to get angry with are people organising the whole thing. Gary Robinson says under here, I reckon it's all being organised by the powers that be. Here in my town in Mexico, which is a small town, we had 15,000 migrants from Haiti descend on us earlier in the year. They were given assistance by the local governments and were bussed in by a certain organisation that manufactures and sells products that can't be stocked in shops. Oh, blimey. Oh, the corporate sector's helping out as well, Gary. Yeah. I'm writing in code here just to be on the safe side. Cheers. Yeah, probably just as well, Gary. Just as well. I mean, it could be any number of organisations. Jamnoise72, hey, soul sister, how are you? If people are coming here illegally, as you say, then how do you know about it? And please can you tell me how many people that you know of have entered this way? You say the amounts are staggering. Where are you getting your stats from, please? Well, it's a good question. I mean, the government will claim one thing. There's several pressure groups will claim another. I don't know the exact numbers. It's a large number anyway. I know there are numerous hotels along the south coast that are now completely packed up with these people. I know as far as Cornwall now, they're entire hotels are being designated as migrant care homes, and not care homes, what's the word, accommodation. And you know what, I think it's being done deliberately. I think the government, there's newspaper stories which indicate that I think they're doing it to try and demoralise us. I mean, you know, they put them in these little villages and places like Tintagel, and it seems almost like it's the very act of them putting the migrants in the hotels, when of course they won't do that for homeless people. Now they did that for native homeless people during the COVID-19 pandemic, if you remember. Suddenly homelessness was solved overnight because all the people sleeping rough on the street were given hotel rooms. It's a very reasonable cost. Of course, when the crisis was over, they said, right, back on the streets, guys. You know, so they could solve the homeless crisis if they wanted to, the homeless crisis among native people. But they won't do it because it's not useful. Anyway, Rick Cleland gives Jam Noise a clap. Gary Robinson says to Jam Noise, I've noticed that channels like GB News, etc., spam viewers daily with these stories of the UK being invaded. There's no way of knowing for sure, of course. Could be another fear program to keep us all stressed out and arguing amongst ourselves. Well, you know, that there is an element to that, Gary. There is. I mean, we see the same thing actually with your part of the world, North America, because a lot of you've been inundated with migrants from Haiti. They're probably on their way to the United States. They're like, and of course from Mexico. Of course, there's lots of people crossing the border from Mexico, and partly there's almost a kind of like a pornographic kind of portrayal in the mainstream media of what's going on, almost as if they're trying to rub our noses in it. And unfortunately, the guy who went and firebombed the place, I mean, that's a kind of controlled response. As I said, we mustn't respond like that. Jam Noise 70, hey Rick, love you, bro. That's a Rick Cleland. Jam Noise says to Gary, it's all BS, Gary, just divide and us. GB News is controlled opposition, in my opinion. The guy still works for the BBC, says it all, without proof, and if he's posting daily, as you say, I'm in no doubt that he is part of the play. GB News, I'm actually very impressed with a lot of GB News, Jam Noise. I mean, Neil Oliver in particular, I think is wonderful. I think that guy's a national treasure. As for the rest of it, they have disappointed me. There's a lot of things I'd like them to say that they won't. They won't talk about a lot of the subjects that you and I talk about, the geoengineering and things like that. I mean, they still take the mainstream line on things like that, which is, I think that's pretty bad. And Jamnoy says underneath as well to Gary, I wish the awake, quote unquote, would wake up. We are thrown these stories by the MSM to argue and talk about, and that is what we do, for fuck's sake. It's just like there's sheep. It's becoming too easy for the MSM to throw the awake the bone. I'm well out of this crap. No longer watch any news, and Ben is the only YT channel I still watch because I've met Ben and I had so much fun with him, and he stayed at my house and I made him a lovely beef stew. Ben is a real no ego here. That's why I love you so much, Ben. Oh, thank you, Jam Noise. I love you too. I did. We went to Bilderberg Fringe in 2013. Of course, it's almost 10 years ago now. And we had a lovely time, didn't we? Yeah, we had great fun. We called Crime Stoppers. Do you remember? So there's a video of it there. You can see it on the video. Gary Robinson. And as for and I mean, as you mean, the mainstream tries to control the opposition. The mainstream mainstream, the government, they use the mainstream media. First, they engineer these crises, and then they kind of like rub our noses in it as, you know, in a way, our reaction to it. They want to provoke a certain reaction to it as well. That's what all these false flag, whats are about. You know, the bangs and the narwhal tusks and things like that. Gary says underneath, definitely suspect the way GB News appears to save the day, right? The way GB News appears to save the day. Jam Noise says to Gary, I think I might have got this wrong, Gary. It's GG News, the guy that used to film the protests. Oh, I don't know that one. But Gary says underneath, sorry, JM, I meant GB News. I must have done a typo the previous post. Late in the day here. Brain fried severely. Oh, right. Well, thanks for the comments, Jam Noise and Gary and Rick Cleland. I don't know GG News. GB News, like I said, Neil Oliver, I think, is great. I'm not... Oh, there's more replies, is there? Oh, we've got more replies. Sorry. Jam Noise. Is it the same guy GB News did when he filmed the protest? I'm confused now, lol. Gary. I'm just going to double check tomorrow when fully charged. David Smith says underneath here. What's he got to say here? And they say, this is to Jam Noise, when they say illegally, I think they're referring to people being caught entering the UK in non-conventional methods, so the numbers, I suspect, are pretty accurate. What a lot of new outlets fail to mention is the vast majority of fleeing lives of suffering and hardship, and many will be denied. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, in a sense, the inequality geographically of lifestyle across the world is assisting this. It's enticing people to take part in this agenda. Of course, if that was one of the ways to solve this whole problem, ultimately, the ultimate solution has to be the various ways in which, you know, what we call part of the third world, and Albania, you could say, is a part of that, could have their living standards increased, could have better living standards, and that could be done with the declassification of free energy and things like that, and terra preta and all these other things. Basically, the end of the New World Order, disclosure. Excuse me. I mean, no one's coming to Britain for the weather. There could even be a scenario in the post-Illuminati world in which it is many countries, say in the tropical areas such as Africa, which suffer from their own form of immigration, simply from people in colder parts of the world wanting to get their place in the sun. And indeed, that actually happens in the Roswell trilogy, if you've read my books. So the ultimate solution, I mean, in a sense, it's the way the Illuminati have engineered the world as it is, with poverty and things like that, which allows them to do that, which allows them to engineer these situations. David continues, immigration has always been a part of human life. The UK is the 6th largest economy, and most migrants come here expecting to work, with better prospects than they would at home. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, they wouldn't be coming in this large. There's no way there could be such a huge influx of immigration at the same time unless there was some kind of organisation behind it. You get them coming in dribs and drabs. Families would turn up every so often, but you're getting thousands of people in boats. It's organised. Unfortunately, many media outlets and politicians are talking about it as an invasion, about spreading fear about what the future holds. Well, it's not just them talking about it, and it's true. I mean, but the thing is, the politicians spreading fear are the ones that are engineering it in the first place. I note many conspiracy theories are based on this notion of some future event or events leading to something. It's always soon the migrants will outnumber us, soon the New World Order will control the entire world, soon we'll have UFO disclosure, etc. Scams, fear-mongering and falsehoods thrive on making people afraid of future events. Oh, right. Well, firstly, I'm not afraid of UFO disclosure. I think that's a good thing. That actually would be one of the finish line points. I think that's something, if that ever happens, you'll know the New World Order is over. It's impossible. As for the threat of the New World Order is very real. As for migrants outnumbering us, that's obviously if you make that kind of Elvis statistic out of that and extrapolate it into the future, that's what would eventually happen. But the thing about it is, I think the idea is for the New World Order to be cemented long before then. But they're not going to get away with it. We've seen the same rhetoric used in the past about black people coming to the UK. I personally think it's disgusting and get a little bit downtrodden when I hear Ben repeat some of the fodder I hear in right-wing circles. Some people are part of the sheep and cult but don't realise it, and they will label others as sheep. That's when you know the propaganda is working. All right, what you hear in... well, it depends. I don't know what you hear in right-wing circles. What kind of fodder am I repeating? I'm not suggesting we should hate people because of the colour of their skin or what country they come from. Albanians are not really... they're not black anyway. They're kind of off-white, aren't they? They're kind of Mediterranean. But even then, I wouldn't suggest hating people like that. So, what kind of rhetoric am I... what kind of fodder are you hearing that I repeat? Please be more precise, David. Right, that is the end of that thread. Rick Clennon says, on... reply to comment 66. Hello, Ben. Hello, Rick. How you doing? Rick Kelly, it's got lovely gothic writing, he has. Jamnoy72 says, Brother Rick is in the house. Hey. Rick Clennon. I know Rick Clennon. I've had some... yeah, I've talked about him. 2 weeks... this is Jamnoy72. I just emailed you, Soul Brother, says Jamnoy72. Thanks, Jamnoy. I did get your email. I think... let me just remind myself. Oh, yeah, I think... yes, I do remember. Now, yes. Thanks, I do. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for emailing me. I suddenly thought, which one's that? Because you do email me quite a lot, and I was wondering which one's that. And I do now, I remember now. Reply to comment 66. Black Circle is here. Catching up now. Hey, Black Circle, how you doing? And Jam Noise says, hi, so nice seeing you here, to Black Circle. Black Circle says, do you cover the Richard D. Hall video also? Jam Noise says to Black Circle, no, I've just posted my So True video in support of Richard so people can find him on YouTube and get the link to his website in the description. It's working so far. Well done, Jam Noise, well done. Yeah, it's Richard is making the most out of this. He's not letting this get him down. He's not the type to let this sort of thing like hamper him. And Black Circle says to Jam Noise, thanks for reading my comment at 2 hours 20. Alright. And this is Jam Noise. Comment, read it. Right, what's this? This is a timestamp here. A husky voice. Then after some time listening, I began to see a mixture of a young Richard Burton and a young Floella Benjamin. I was hooked, I was. Oh right, that's a reference to my voice, yes. Because of my voice, the way it sounded then, didn't it? Yeah. Black Circle says to Jam Noise, my emotions get the better of me regarding Neil Sanders. Oh my yes. You'll be glad to know, guys, I have booked myself in for an eye test. Okay, I think I've got hypermetropia based on my symptoms. Regarding Neil Sanders, especially after seeing his anti-conspiracy rants. Also, the YouTuber called Russian Vids got his channel deleted. He appeared to show via Skype chat. Cheers. Well, as I say, Neil Sanders. Neil Sanders, I think. Yeah, Neil Sanders has, but he does this thing with someone else called Brent Lee, who's another recovering conspiracy theorist. It's called some dare call it conspiracy. I wonder if they got any new. Videos up. But they have this show that it's called Some Dare Call It Conspiracy, where Brent and they've got a new one now, yeah. And there's Neil Sanders, and they do this show, yeah. It's I must say I do listen to it. I just like it. There's this nice. Let me just show you their little their logo. Look at their logo here. It's quite cool. This is Some Dare Call It Conspiracy. See, very all psychedelic there, and there's various people in the colour. This is good artwork here. There's that there is the Illuminati pyramid, and I think there's Neil and Brent sitting at the Mad Hatter's table party in Alice in Wonderland. That's what they look like. That's good, isn't it? And this is faking our own conspiracy theory. The Shining predicted the John Lennon assassination. All right, I've seen this. They take the Mickey a little bit out of it. Yeah, they take the Mickey out of it a bit. Okay. But Neil, I think Neil's intention was to do good for Richard. Neil wanted to act as a kind of positive character witness, so he went to the BBC and he said, "I will. Yeah, you can interview me. I'm an insider. I was part of Richard's ivory tower, and so I'll let you know. I'll give you a bit of inside stuff, but I'm just saying that Richard's not really such a bad guy, really. But of course, then he was actually he had a bit of a nerve, actually, Neil. He then complained on the BBC because they misrepresented him in the TV show, and I'm kind of like face palming, going, Neil, what do you expect? Neil, how can you be so naive? Did you really think they were going to give you a fair hearing? So hopefully he's learned his lesson there. I don't know who Russian Vids is. Except if it's Russian, it must be bad, because Ukraine is good and Russia is bad. Alright. And Jamnoy says, RV got deleted? I never liked or trusted him, and he never had the balls to show his face. I doubt if he did on his show. I don't know who you're talking about, Jamnoy. Black Circle says, others show their face and they're obvious agents and shills. Nothing suggests to me RV is a shill. And Black Circle also says here, to jam those. Neil Sanders was wearing a t-shirt with one eye symbolism on for his interview with the BBC, and on Twitter he admits he did it on purpose to troll people. Well, I thought the BBC actually deliberately dressed him up in that. I thought it was like a costume, because they do. They decide what you wear. I honestly don't believe it for 1 second. Plus, the direction of his content has gone the opposite way now. His Twitter feed is full of retweets of that Mariana Spring woman, like he supports her. He's a sellout, not naive at all. He should know better. I don't know. Repost from below. Well, if he's retweeting Mariana Spring, there's something wrong with him. Yeah, I mean, I follow Mariana Spring on Twitter. You know what they say. She's keep your enemies closer, and your friends keep your enemies closer. She's also a hate follow. I have numerous hate follows on Twitter. I follow Kevin Logan and Christy Winters on Twitter, for goodness sake. As for Neil, I mean, I don't actually. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I don't know him on Twitter, actually. I may be have a look. But what's he retweeting Mariana Spring for? What's he retweeting her for? Has he got the hots for her or something? She's not bad looking, I suppose, but don't judge a book by its cover, Neil. Oh, that's the end of the thread. Then Jamnoy said she'd email me. That's the end of the thread. Okay, we've got another thread now. It is Hugo Rune on reply to comment 66. Is that it? I seem to be getting through them quite quickly. I'm looking forward to this. Thanks, Ben. I say in advance of watching. Says thanks, Hugo. You're very welcome. And Jamnoy says, Hugo, I missed you on the live. Hugo, I'm still watching. Only 18 minutes in. Wow, you are fast. Thank you. Jamnoy, hey Hugo. Hi, my friend. Light it up. Oh, God. Well, you know what you mean by light it up. Jamnoy 72. I missed my smoking buddy on that live. I felt like Jackie No Mate. Hugo, thank you. I'm not able to travel. You're welcome to visit. I'm happy to share my medication. Steve says, hi Hugo. Hope you're spliffing well. Hugo, thank you. I am. Just got a few in my tin. You're welcome to share and enjoy. PM me if you wish. Steve, thanks for the offer, Hugo. My goodness, what is it? What are you? What is this? A reggae band? You guys, I wonder. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to go and see Hugo as well. But Jamnoy, I don't smoke his stuff. Well, I have done. I have a couple of times. It made me feel very strange. I actually wrote some articles about what it was like. But yeah, have a good time, guys. Yes, past a spliff, man. Yeah. Okay. Hugo Rune, you replied to comment 66. 420-ish onwards. No, Ben, you're wrong. Coaxes the cable from my TV antenna. Axial cables, they are cut. I cannot receive TV signals from my roof antenna. I want to invite them in to show them. I have no interest to broadcast BBC. What's this? What am I talking about here, Hugo? Loads of online resources of how to deal with these enforcers, these so-called enforcers, who actually can't enforce anything. They rely on your compliance. All right, okay. All right, so they need to come in. All right, you. Thing is that they're not the enforcers; they're the repairmen. Isn't that? You can't get the enforcers. The enforcers are the guys who turn up and says, "Have you paid your TV license, sir?" In which case you could say to them, "No, bugger off! I'm not supporting rapists and child abusers with my money." Um, but these are repairmen, like in that thing with Nick Frost. What's it called? That thing with Nick Frost. That's really good. What's it called? Truth Seekers. Have you seen Truth Seekers? Have you seen this? Let's have a look at this. Hang on. Oh, Radio Times. This program here, Truth Seekers. This is really good. I've actually done a review of this on HPANWO Voice. I thought it was so good. Now, it could have been better. For example, Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are hardly ever in the same scene together. They've got that young woman from Porter's there, Susan Wokoma. Well, basically, he's a TV repairman by day, ghost hunter by night. It's really good. It's a really great series. But you can't have them. You can't have the two things together. I mean, you can't. You can't. He's a repairman, and he goes and fixes people's TVs. But he doesn't enforce the license. I think it's two separate things. It's Capita, isn't it? The one that does the TV. It's like Daniel Bostock. He goes, he pretends to be his grandmother. Remember about Capita, The last thing my grandmother said to me. That was good. It's called A TV License Inspector's Worst Nightmare. It's on Daniel Bostock's channel. Yeah. Jamnoy says, just ignore all the letters, Hugo. That's what I've done, and I have spoken to them at my door to let them know I don't even have a TV. I asked them to never disturb me again, and they have not. I even had one of those people posts up on my door for a while, telling them they don't have permission to be or anywhere near near my property. Ha! Well done, Jamnoy. Well done. That's all you got to do. Just stand up to the bastards, and they shrink like violets. They shrink like all their power comes from people not knowing. They swagger around in their uniforms, hoping people will work out they have powers that they don't have. Honestly, Hugo, Jamnoise. I mean, the number of people now defaulting on their licenses is so huge that it's going to take 150 years to get them all through court. I mean, you're not going to live that long. Hugo Rune says to Jamnoise, thank you so much for your reply, but I still think you missed my point. I want them to visit. I want them to waste their time and money. I want them to invite them in their home and tell them to fuck off. Hugo, you'll kill me. Oh, Hugo. You're so cool. Yeah, I mean, well, Hugo, you could do it that way if you want as well. Steve071 says, still, never let anyone into your home. Those twats are just salesmen with no authority and will take any opportunity to screw you over for commission. Yeah, bastards. Right, reply to comment 66. Gary Robinson says here. Ben, mate, it's been a while since I've done a Woke Watch reply for you, and today there's been some news. You might remember we were talking about the new woke Indiana Jones 5. Oh, right, the one that doesn't have a title yet, yeah. That's going to be... See, Indy killed and replaced by a woman. It turns out that Disney had been sitting on the finished movie for 6 months and have been too scared to release it as the movie is so bad. A number of people have been speaking out because they attended preview screenings of the film in which they were apparently showed the movie along with various different sections and different endings, each according to varied degree of wokeness. Apparently the feedback was so bad that the COO of Disney is considering scrapping the movie and claiming on insurance rather than releasing it and damaging the Lucasfilm brand. I really hope this is another step to getting rid of woke, especially since the Rings of Power failed so spectacularly. Cheers. Excellent news. Oh yeah, I've seen the advertising. It doesn't even have a title yet. It's Indiana Jones 5. Everyone's speculating about it. It's the as yet unnamed, the untitled fifth Indiana Jones film. Yeah. We don't know much about it, but they're not releasing. They're not releasing too much about it so far, except it's got a completely different production team. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas are not involved in it at all. They're bringing back Harrison Ford, but don't know how long for. And it says here, Indiana Jones, the fifth Indiana Jones, is scheduled for release on June the 30th, 2023. But it was initially set for release on 19th of July 2019, then delayed until July the 10th, 2020. Oh, right. They say, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the film industry. What? The initial release date was July 2019. COVID-19 didn't appear until early 2020. What are you talking about? Oh, dear. Yeah, guys, it looks like Gary. That's interesting, Gary, because they do, of course, show the film to selected audiences before it's released. They'll have a private screening of, say, journalists and critics and people like that, which is usually done. It wasn't done with Eyes Wide Shut, which is very interesting. That's one of the interesting things about Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah, but it looks like whatever's going on. It's interesting. Your insight is very interesting. That you've. I know you've got contacts on the inside of the movie industry, so you'll be speaking to these people. But I didn't know that this was the reason for it. It doesn't surprise me, It doesn't surprise me. And Rings of Power is, it's a complete and utter. It's being trashed. I mean, the fans. It's not even canon. I mean, this is why they don't use the word Hobbit in it, because they can't. Because basically it's not canon, it's just glorified fan fiction. And it's everyone who's seen it says it's bloody awful. Reply to comment 66. Here we go. Gary Robinson. There are currently massive sky hologram shows in Mexico in different cities, and they are mind blowing. So it's not science fiction. No, it's not. It could easily be done. Just to expand on this comment, I saw a video on Instagram the other day, which was uploaded by a friend of mine. It showed a neon hologram show, which was projected into the sky over the city of Saltillo, here in Mexico. First of all, it was huge in both footprint and height, and the centre was a square UFO type thing that danced and changed shape. It was made up of neon edges. It also had some small details. There was a perimeter made up of different UFO shapes that danced to the music and were different colours and moved differently. Each of the objects was three-directional, meaning they appeared at different depending on where you were standing. Three-dimensional, sorry. If a tacky Mexican nightclub can have something like that, then imagine what else is out there in terms of similar technology that we don't know about. People should think about that before they claim that holograms cannot be projected into the sky. That's right. Okay. I'll just see if there's a video of it. So let's see if there's any videos of it. Alright, no, I can't see anything, but no, I do believe you. I do believe sky holograms are perfectly possible. Thanks for that, Gary. David Smith says here underneath, perhaps giving the video a name would be helpful. I don't believe what you're saying matches up to what's able to be done in reality or in many more venues, or many more venues will be using this technology. Currently, the best aerial displays are made up of drones, small quadcopters, connected to using a program that organises them into various shapes and images. David, that's right, and some of them are very good. I mean, that's very good. They used them at New Year, didn't they, over London? This is basically this is drones in formation, and they've got lights on them, and so they can cover the sky with all kinds of images. They're really good. I'm sure there'll be some of those. I'll put here display drones. Here we go. Incredible drone light show. Here we go. Let's have a look. No, not that. So that's an ad. Look at this. This is amazing. Not the ad. You can, come on, hang on, not that one, this one, display capture. Oh, come on, for God's sake, no skip button. Here we go. Oh, wow. I'll just put that, I don't want to copy any copyright shit with the music. Look at that. Yeah, I've seen these before. Yeah, I've seen them. They're really incredible. By the Shenzhen Mobile Intelligence. Look at that. You see, you can basically the formation they're held in formation by a computer, as David was saying. It's all computer controlled from the ground, and as long as it's not too windy, they can hold their shape perfectly, and wherever they're going, and they produce some really amazing stuff. Look at that. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Wow. Really good. Excellent stuff, yeah. And BZ Garsons. Says to Gary, link to said video, please. David Smith says to BZ, he said it was an Instagram video, which means it might be fake or not available elsewhere. At least that's my suspicion. Gary says, it was a set of Insta stories posted by a friend of mine, so I'll have to ask her if she can WhatsApp me the videos, but you'll be surprised when you see them. Impressive stuff. Cheers. Alright, Gary, yeah, by all means, I'd be interested to see that. Now, Gary again on reply to comment 66. Ben, mate, I spoke to the wife in regards to ayahuasca flashbacks, and she said that she's not experienced anything like that and is not aware of anyone else having flashbacks either. I think this is because when your visions are about to end, you throw up, which I assume happens so that the ayahuasca clears itself from your system. I do know people who've had LSD flashbacks many years after they took it, and I believe that's because the molecules of LSD can get stuck in your bloodstream, which could, of course, be a design flaw, since LSD is man-made, I think. I don't know. Jonathan Downes has written very eloquently and about his own LSD negative experiences, and which did continue long after he had he took the drug. Gary Robinson says on 66. In regards to the US border, they still require non-US citizens to show proof of having ingested substances that were made available quickly and had no track record. I get what you mean, yeah. Without giving away my life story, this has been very tricky for me, and I know that Jamnoy72 is going through something similar. I don't believe they are going to drop to the entry restrictions. I have a feeling they are permanent. I cringe when I say that, as I don't like being pessimistic. I really feel for JM though, as I remember you mentioned her daughter was in the USA. Cheers. Yeah. Jam Noise has her daughter, yeah, and it's sad when people cannot see each other and they're held apart in this way because of petty government bureaucracy. And I can't believe these restrictions are still in place. It's astonishing they're still in place. And of course, the WEF and the Davos set and people like that, they're going to try to find another reason to reinforce more restrictions. Oh, this is it's just 66 again. It's Gary again on 66. Yeah, Ben, mate, I wanted to give you an update regarding to microdosing. In regards to ayahuasca microdosing, there are no psychedelic side effects whatsoever, as it doesn't contain any DMT. I was told that people usually meditate and to say a prayer before they take it. Take it first time, in which they ask for certain things such as good health, etc. So I went ahead and did this. Taking the psilocybin microdosing tablets was a big deal for me, and I was worried I might experience some side effects. So far, the only strange thing that happened to me was that a few minutes after taking my very first capsule, I was looking at the bathroom tap, which was dripping, and a little voice in my head said, "That is the ocean of the world." Oh, God. Are you sure there's no DMT in it, Gary? Oh. In terms of the day-to-day, the biggest change for me has been in regards to my work. As you know, I work as a composer and music producer. This involves a lot of messing around with dials and sliders in synths and virtual instruments, etc. Over the years, I've become a little OCD with my workflow, checking and double-checking things until I'm happy. Since taking psilocybin, I'm able to get through things right first time, and I don't stress anymore, which has been incredible. Oh, so it has positive benefits for people. Yeah, it does. Doesn't always make you drop out. I am currently working on 2 songs at the same time, and I don't think I'll need to go over them again once they're done. This has been a massive game changer for me. It's hard to explain, but my thought process has essentially changed. I'm able to see what I'm doing is right first time and simply move on to the next part of the task. Cheers. Hey, nice one, Gary. Thanks very much. And it's interesting to hear about your work, and your insights are really interesting. Because you've proven that people get woke and can go broke, and I said that would happen, didn't I? I said eventually, they can push this woke stuff as much as they like. If they can't get bums on seats, the shareholders are going to say, "Look, what's happening to our money?" And so I appreciate your insights into that, and I appreciate your wife and you for sharing your experiences with me. And I'm letting you know if I ever go for one of these ayahuasca workshops, I'll let you know. Right, quick heads up. This is Gary again on 66. Quick heads up regarding Rich Planet TV. The website is no longer available through Telmex here in Mexico, which is the only ISP in the country. Upon trying to visit the site, my browser simply says site cannot be reached. The site is also blocked by NordVPN and has been for some years. Oh, and he says, sorry, Ben, it turns out I was putting in the wrong URL. The site is not blocked here in Mexico. Cheers. Oh, thank goodness for that. I was going to suggest you use Tor at the end of the day, because that just picks up anything. You can read the dark web on Tor. But, yeah, oh, blimey, Gary. But I'm sure they would ban it if they could. The thing about Richard is Richard hosts his own site. So which is just as well, really. All his videos are all available. There. Not all of them can be played, but they can be downloaded. A black circle says on 66. Neil Sanders was wearing a T-shirt with one eye symbolism. Yeah, he was. For his interview with the BBC, and on Twitter, he admits he did it on purpose to troll people. Oh, fool. Well, that's a silly game. But he's like that now, Neil. He's sort of, as he said, he's no longer involved. He's just he's circling it like a satellite. I honestly don't believe it for 1 second. Plus, the direction of his content has gone the opposite way now. His Twitter feed is full of retweets of that Mariana Spring woman, like he supports her. He's a sellout, not naive at all. He should know better. All right, yeah, you mentioned him retweeting some Mariana Spring, which is disappointing. The direction he's gone in, I think he's made a mistake. He's completely abandoned the conspirasphere now. But in fact, he retweets her. Is concerning of all the people he has to retweet. I follow her. I hate follow her to keep an eye on what she's up to. You've got to check what these people are doing, because they're checking up on you. So you should check up on them. But he's a sellout and not naive. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to call him a sellout. A sellout indicates he's betrayed us deliberately in some way out of malice, and I don't think he has. I think he's being sincere. I think he's mistaken, and I think he wanted to do something positive for Richard, and he thought, I'll get involved with this BBC hit piece, and I'll go in there and I'll put my side across and say what a nice guy Richard is, and that will and then the editors will go, oh great, let's have a bit of balance in this programme, will we, by portraying Neil Sanders honestly. And that is incredibly naive. And and he's complaining now. He's complaining now on bloody Facebook. They did this to him, and I'm like, Neil, surely you knew they were going to do this. Come on. Gary Robinson says here on 66. Excuse me. Well, I could take a nap after the hour. When the hour break comes up, I'm taking a nap. Gary Robinson said, I almost forgot to mention this, Ben, but did you see that Welsh archaeology guy that Rich RDH had on recently? He passed away only a few weeks after his appearance on RP. I think his name was Ross Broadstock. Oh, do you mean Alan Wilson? Or it was some Alan Wilson and Baron Blackett. Alan Wilson, Baron Blackett. Here we go. Alan Wilson, Baron Blackett books. Right. Alan Wilson. Historian. Emlyn Wilson history. I don't say there's nothing here about him dying, but he was quite old. He was pretty old, wasn't he? I mean, I haven't heard that he. I mean, it's very sad if that's happened. Unless you're talking about someone else, Ross Broadstock. I don't know. I mean, was this someone else? Maybe you're talking about someone entirely different. Ross Broadstock is. I've not actually watched the program. I have to watch that program. I will. But it's very sad actually if he's died. And Richard, I hope, has provided him with a good memorial. Anyway, Steve Mumbling, he's here. It's happened. Steve Mumbling has appeared in the comment section. Let us sit down and listen. RDH should be hung, drawn and quartered for the drivel he puts out. Steve, that's even by your... I'm almost tempted to delete that, actually. I really am. That's out of order. There is zero evidence for 9/11, 7/7 and the Manchester B words being anything other than terrorist attacks. Well, you're wrong, Steve, and I've explained why. And I've explained with 9/11. Others have explained with 7/7, and Richard has explained with Manchester. So you're wrong on all three counts. The sort of people who believe otherwise are completely devoid of critical thinking ability. All right, and so in that, well, you're not providing. There's a quite short comment here. There's nothing that says really anything. I could say to you, okay, I could quote you, the sort of people who believe that 2 + 2 = 4 are completely devoid of critical thinking ability. Right, Steve? Therefore, does 2 + 2 = 5? If not, why not? They are the sort of people who believe the Queen of England was a shape-shifting lizard from outer space. His supporters nothing more than gullible fools. Alright, well firstly, a lot of Richard's supporters don't believe that the Queen of England was a shape-shifting lizard from outer space. I personally do, but a lot of them don't. And saying his supporters are nothing more than gullible fools, again, people who believe that 2 + 2 are nothing more than gullible fools. Once again, 2 + 2 = 5, does it, Steve? Steve071 here says, really, I doubt it. Actually, anyone with an ounce of critical thinking would see the absolute crap peddled by the mainstream. Nice try, Steve. I appreciate what you say here, but I think it's going to take more than that to break down the mumbler. Steve Mumbling says, I think you need to change your medications, Steve. And Steve071 says, haha, Steve, very droll. Perhaps you should lay off the aspartame. Ha Yes, that's skeptic juice. Everyone loves that skeptic juice. Reply to comment 66. Steve071. I stopped using cow's milk. Not good for you. I now buy almond milk. Not much difference in the price. 85p for a litre carton at Lidl. All right. I actually don't drink hardly. I hardly drink any milk anyway. I have a little bit in tea and coffee, and that's it. I used to have like loads of it over cereal and stuff like that, but not anymore. It's not good for you, I don't think. It's lactose. Lactose is actually not good for your nose and throat. 66 Steve01 again. Mandela effect. Ben Robbie Coltrane died years ago. Second time he's died for me. Really? Oh, really, Steve? That's interesting. Maybe that is like a Mandela effect. Yeah. And have you managed to find anyone else, Steve, who? Do you know anyone else who's had the same experience with Robbie Coltrane? You've got two avatars here. Steve, do you have two accounts? Because you've got two separate avatars here. Well, by the way, that's just an aside, by the way. But if you know lots of other people who say the same thing and share a memory with you about Robbie Coltrane dying earlier, then that could be the Mandela effect, yes. Lapis Conference 2022. We have someone here called Quilly or Cooley1, CWLI1. Gargling with warm salt water can help soothe the sore throat and break down secretions. It's also known to help kill bacteria in the throat. Make a salt water solution by adding half a teaspoon of salt to a full glass of warm water. Gargle with it to help reduce swelling and keep throat clear. Honey mixed with tea or taken on its own is a common home remedy for symptoms of a sore throat. Thank you, Cooley. Thank you very much. I mean, I'd actually, the honey thing I did, the honey and lemon, I had honey and lemon in warm water, and that did a lot of good. But thank you very much. As it happened, my sore throat did recover. But much appreciated. Reply to comment 66, Steve Mumbling said, I couldn't name the high-profile UAP researcher who's seen the light and given it up. I got that from Ross Coulthart, who didn't name them either, and I asked the same question. Why? And here's a link. What's this? Oh, I'll just put this here. Well, Ross, I watched Ross Coulthart's show, and he never said anything there, but there we go. Here, Ross Coulthart here. What's this?
Well, obviously there are things I can't tell.
Well, it's Sabine Hossenfelder.
Physicists have debated.
Hang on, what's this? Hang on, what's this? Oh right, okay. So I pressed forward. I pressed the forward button by accident. I was going for the volume. And this is Steve Mumbling here. It's a long one. 1 hour 21:55. Oh, Steve. Are you trying to provoke me into making a comment reply? What's this then?
I can't tell you.
I'll go back a bit.
Out of the way.
Who do we have here? We have Ross Coulthart, we have Jason, someone here, and then there's these two other people who I don't know. That's Ross Coulthart.
First clip. Now this is not very cool at all, Mr. Coulthart, on social media.
Is the almost naive truculence. They attack people like some of the insider thinkers like Elizondo, like Mellon, for talking about threat. And they're suggesting that what they're doing is, it's the Stephen Greer narrative that Stephen Greer has been pushing for years, that they're talking about an alien invasion.
Yeah, but you've got to bear in mind that Lou Elizondo and Mellon have not offered any kind of evidence.
Hang on, all right. Steve. No, it's Steve. I'll have to watch. I'll watch your stuff. But now, so Coulthart didn't name them either. What Coulthart has done is he seems to have got a bit black-pilled lately. I mean, he was on his own show with Bryce Zabel. No. He did the show with who was it? Which show did he do? Hang on a minute. I'll just go through my history here. Ross Coulthart. Here we go. November the 7th. What's this?
Pumped up and
I do believe it's that.
Here I am, suit and all, to chat with a brilliant mind.
Goodness me!
The last couple of years.
Goodness me! I do believe.
Everybody, how are you? Thanks for joining us,
Steve.
Puerile.
All right, I do believe he says puerile, juvenile, and things like that a few times. Steve, I've seen it. I've seen the video you're talking about here, and yeah, he basically lays into the social media commentariat on UFO Twitter and people like that. And basically says it's because these people are too busy, trolling each other and flaming each other that whistleblowers won't speak out. He keeps saying puerile and spiteful and things like that, and juvenile, and over again. He gets pretty angry. Yeah, but he didn't. No, I remember I saw the video and he didn't mention, but I don't remember him mentioning a particular person who's just given up UAP research. He mentioned that he was fed up with it. He mentioned a number of people like the backslappers and the posers who I complain about. The alien scientists and the Stephen Cambions and the goof-ons of this world. You mentioned them and I complain. He didn't mention them by name. I just did, but he I know he's referring to them. And he said that people like that are just spoiling it for everyone else. And he also said that he believed disclosure has kind of been sidelined as a result. I mean, I actually do. It does look like there's an attempt to roll back the whole disclosure thing, and I'll be saying more about that in my New Year disclosure video. But he didn't refer to any particular person, if I remember, in that video. But I mean, I listened to that I did listen to it a couple of weeks ago. But maybe I'll go through your video about it then, Steve. 66 David Smith. Wow, I just did a bit of a long comment. Vanished into the YouTube ether, and you think right-wing media is being cancelled, huh? Stephen, I'm sorry about that. I mean, what I suggest you need to, like, I'd copy and paste them into a Word document. I would, if you're going to do really long, detailed comments. But I'm sorry about that. Yeah, right. Charles Scott. Charles, I've been emailing you. Can we leave this now, please? Charles Scott is now. He's now going on. He's now still talking about the whole outer limits thing. I thought you and I had an email conversation privately, which I won't divulge, but we basically reached a stalemate in our conflict. You insisted that I had lied and I have faked evidence. I insisted that I haven't. I tried to do a demonstration to show you that, you know, what you're accusing me of, someone else could just as easily do. I said that Chris Evans was perfectly capable of faking evidence himself. That's not proof that he did. And I thought, can we just leave it now, Charles, please? I've had enough of this. We're not making any progress here. We've really reached a stalemate, and so I wish to. You say again, you continue with misinformation and disinformation. Please drop it. All right. I want to talk about something else with you, if you don't mind. Okay, new video: Black Panther 2: Wakanda Forever film review. Rick Cleland has 3 monocle faces. Oh, cool. Stephen Garrity says on Moment of Contact Watch Party review, good video, Jack. Thanks, Stephen, but I'm actually called Ben, not Jack. Black Panther 2, Rick Corden says the epic battle between what? And let's have a look. There's a timestamp here. Well, the epic battles between Dora Milaje and the water mutant creatures. Oh right, that's that's just me doing a New York Times accent. It's not an epic battle. It's like it's a battle between the Wakandans and these water mutant creatures, with the enemy, the basic main antagonists in this film. It's okay in terms of fight scenes. They're not bad, but you know, it's not the same as the original. It's not half as good as the original. All right, guys. Ian Gosling says on Picnic at Hanging Rock Watch Party review, important line I thought was describing Miss McCraw's masculine intellect as very important to Miss Appleyard running the school. Yeah, she's Miss Appleyard gets very well. As you know, Miss Appleyard has a bit of a breakdown as a result of this, and she starts drinking, and in the end, it appears she commits suicide. But yes, she describes Miss McCraw's masculine intellect. I think, like a lot of women of that period, this is sort of the end of the Victorian era. She's kind of like because sexual roles were very demarcated in those days. Basically, the two sexes had more respect for each other than they do now. So the women did respect kind of masculinity in a way they may not do now, because basically it's quite a rare commodity among today's men. But because Miss McCraw, of course, is a woman, but she's very knowledgeable. I mean, Miss McCraw knows all about the geology of the rocks and things like that, and she does a little lecture on the natural history of the Hanging Rock outcrop. It's only 1 million years old. That's all it is. No, just 1 million years, quite new. Yes, that's before she, of course, disappears with the girls. Black Panther 2, Tessa 1111 says here. Technically, I thought Black Panther 1 was also just a load of battle scenes repeated from Guardians of the Galaxy Thanos, which is also fight scene heavy. Boring, warring ruins any story dialogue. Tessa continues here. Sounds like the underwater folk scenes are trying to compete with Avatar 2 Blue Peeps. All right, well, I've not seen Avatar 2. I don't think I've seen I think there's some underwater things in the trailer, but Tessa, I don't think that's... Well, obviously your opinion of the film is something you alone can comment on, but I thought the first Black Panther film was a lot deeper, a lot more intellectual than the second. It had a lot to do, of course, with the fact in the second they had this problem with the loss of the loss of one of their principal characters and his actor by death. They decided to write the character out in the same way. He dies in the story, but no, I thought I've not actually read the comic book of Black Panther. I've not seen Guardians of the Galaxy Thanos. I'm not familiar with these sort of Marvel type adaptations. Except they sometimes are better than I think they're going to be. Like with the Spider-Man movies, were a lot better than I thought they were going to be. So now, TK says on reply to comment 66, the people you quote who provide evidence about 9/11 are just weak nobodies with a handful of clueless followers and domain names after themselves, which cost $10 a year. Maybe a good idea to check some non-weak nobodies, especially if you seek the truth. By the way, why don't you have a domain? All right. Oh, that's the end of a segment. Oh well, I'm gonna have a little nap actually because I'm still sleepy. Firstly, right, you're again a lot of rhetoric here. No, you're not actually providing evidence of why these people are what you call nobodies. You're talking about people, for example, from the skilled working class, where a lot of these questions come from. So these are people who are infinitely qualified, among all others, to ask these questions. You're talking about people like engineers, people like Andrew Johnson, Dr. Judy Wood, Richard D. Hall. Dr. Judy Wood, of course, is academic. She's a tutor at the university, but I would categorise her as part of the skilled working class because of her subject, which is mechanical engineering. So these are not nobodies. Again, you see, you want me to listen to non-weak nobodies? What do you mean? Like the skeptics? You mean like the people who support the official story? The JREF's page, or was it DJ Grothy who did that thing about 9/11? These other I've got this book debunking 9/11 myths. I can't remember who the author is. Why are they qualified and the others are not? Because you've not explained why they're qualified any more than you explained why the others are not qualified. So I'm afraid I wonder what the hell you're on about. This is a short comment with you're not explaining why one side is wrong and the other side is right. And if you're not going to do that, I don't see why I should. What is asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. You say, by the way, why don't I have a triple dub domain? You know what? It's just blog. I could do. I mean, especially I've been thinking about it now that Blogger has decided to censored one of my articles. But to be honest, I mean, Substack is so good. I'm not sure I need one. But it may be an idea. Anyway, guys, so I've had a text message from somebody. Anyway, I think it's time for me to take a break. I'll be back shortly, but I think I might have a little sleep before then. Hey guys, I'm back for part 2. Funny enough, I went off and I had a little sleep. As you may have noticed, I was yawning a bit too much in part 1 there. And I set my alarm for like half an hour, which is a good nap time, and I had like dreams like you wouldn't believe. I had sleep paralysis. I had so many dreams, and really weird dreams that seemed to go on for hours. It's weird. I woke up before the alarm went off. When I woke up, I assumed I must have slept through the alarm. It must be like 7 p.m. or something. But no, I looked. It was like, no, it was due to go off in 5 minutes. Weird, that, isn't it? It's not unusual for me. I get sleep paralysis probably every couple of weeks, and sometimes it's combined with weird dreams, especially when I'm having short daytime sleeps. But that was an unusual one. That was unusual. That was a particularly dreamy, fitful kind of sleep. Anyway, guys, I'm back on topic. We now have Sweeps Fox on Picnic at Hanging Rock. Picnic at Hanging Rock Watch Party Introduction. Sweeps Foxman 27 says, okay, we're into this, Ben. Somehow my first comment vanished. It's happened many times, putting comments onto YouTube live streams, TAH, and I said underneath, hi Sweeps, I don't know why that is. I've checked my spam folder, it's not there. Other people have reported this problem. It must be something wrong with YouTube. There we go. Alright, Ghostwatch 30 live stream. I did it again. Spellbound, it says nothing as it seems. Hello, nothing as it seems. Spellbound. Now, that was a good film, wasn't it, Spellbound? I remember. What's this here?
This Friday's Euro Millions Christmas Super Jackpot is
Susie the Banshee Spellbound. Oh, right.
Christmas dream come true money. Play
Good
now.
band,
Euro
good
Millions.
band, guys. Sorry, there's... Yeah, good band, good band. Susie and the Banshee Spellbound. It was a film as well. Do you remember, it was like a fairy tale type film. Jungle Surfer, it's the Jungle Surfer. Ghostwatch, how's Beatrice? Cheers anyway, Ben. Sad you didn't say hi in your live cast. Well, Jungle Surfer, I don't see every single comment because I'm presenting the show. If I don't see one of your comments, you can always write another one. Anyway, just like to say the missile in Poland is Disney. Few have the guts to say or brains to know. All right, well, luckily you do, Jungle Surfer. That's pretty good. I can't rule out what you said is true. I think it's unlikely, quite frankly. But not everything is Disney, you know. Not absolutely everything. But there you go. I hope I don't make it onto your shill list as a result of saying that. So thanks for the comment. Good to hear from you again. Ghostwatch 30, Andy McGee says, regarding the Enfield poltergeist, when being interviewed, the girl making the throat noises constantly has a guilty smile on her face. I find it hard to believe this event was genuine. She does a bit, doesn't she, Janet? Yeah, she's sort of giggling a little bit. But it doesn't. She only you hear her say a few words. I mean, you know, there's tape recordings of hours of recordings of this voice appearing. Apparently not from her, but from near her. So there's Guy Lyon Playfair, there's Morris Gross, there's several other people, there's news reporters, there's police people. It's whatever happened on that TV interview, whatever Janet was doing there. I mean, it's hard to say. She seems to be giggling a bit, you know, and seems to be having a joke. Funnily if Margaret is not. Margaret has a straight face, which I thought was odd. But there you go. It can't be proved or disproved at this point. Helen Duncan, the most dangerous psychic in the world. Oh, this is one of my most popular videos, but it's from quite a long time ago. Greg Scott says, awesome, Ben. Watched this many times. Just awesome. And I say, thanks, Greg. Glad you like it. I mean, I'm proud of it. I could have made it better. You know, how I had like a tripod and things like that, which I didn't have. But still not bad. Okay, Artemis 1 live stream. Dark Corner says, first. Well done. Tinfoil hat to you. Dark Corner's also on Artemis 1 live stream. There are a few things in childhood that fill me with a sense of childlike wonder as watching at the space shuttle launch. There's something about it that just tickles my nostalgia bone. Yeah, it is. It's incredible. I mean, I think it's something so potent and so majestic about rockets taking off. It's just like, you know, this huge fireball-producing monster just soaring into the sky. It's so bright. I mean, there's videos of Artemis 1 going up. It lights up the entire landscape. There's people filming it from miles away, and they put it on YouTube. It lights up the landscape like daylight. As I said, you know, there's this story by Arthur C. Clarke about an astronaut living in the future when there's anti-gravity, who's sort of reminiscing nostalgically about the days of when there was rocket launches and things. Artemis 1 livestream. Big Bobby Dazzler says, why no continuous footage of the Earth from the rocket? Surely we have the tech for that. Off the button moon, follow Mr. Spoon, load of pish me thinks. Yes, to get some pie for the pieman. Oh, Big Bobby Dazzler, that's a good question. I mean, they do supposedly have a continuous stream from many platforms such as the International Space Station and things like that. But they keep cutting off, and I mean, it can be put down to technical problems, or it could be because they are showing things they don't want people to see. As I explained in the video, it's like it is like Hollywood in a sense. Not that it's all fake. The Earth is flat. I don't believe that. Not the Earth is not flat, but there are things they don't want us to see. Definitely. Artemis 1 live stream. Oh, right. No, I'm not going to read this. Well, it's... Alright, Steve Mumbling first thought I was blocking him from commenting on the live stream. I'm not going to read this out because Steve does kind of... he apologises. He got that wrong. But he thought I was blocking him and I wasn't. But he said, why did you allow me to comment on the live stream? It turned out he was using too many characters. And he did actually apologise. But he said, could you address my the points I made regarding the Artemis launch and the SSP though? Oh, sure, Steve. If you make them, I will answer them. Artemis 1 Tommy Time Television. Ben, do you think the government agency NASA and the super rich like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos know the end is coming, and that is why they're so keen to set up a base on the moon and Mars. Oh, there's so many science fiction stories about this. In 2012, it was big ships. I remember they were going to move to big ships. I think I don't think they are. I think there's a lot of people who are predicting that they're engineering some kind of catastrophe so that they can then come out and build their new world order, or they're afraid of the new world order ending. A lot of people within the elite are. Now, Elon Musk, I don't know, what side is he on? Whose side is he on? I don't know. But are they keen to escape to other planets? I think the thing is, Triple T, they already have the means to do that anyway, because of the secret space program. So I don't think they'd be interested. I don't think they'd be building rockets in a great hurry if that were the case. So it's maybe something else. Maybe something else. I don't know. It could be. It seems that maybe a time has come. Sometimes there's a time has come when people need to be seen to achieve something, even if they achieved it before. As in the late 15th century, it was necessary for people to discover, quote unquote, the new world. So Columbus went and discovered the Americas, even though everyone in the elite circles knew they existed anyway. And they knew there were two continents of the world which they were keeping secret from us. The Knights Templar had colonies in what's now Nova Scotia. That Roman and Celtic remains have been found all over Canada and the United States. A Roman galley was found in Brazil. There's loads of there's the famous Anchor Stone, which I think is Norse. Yeah, there's the Indians, which they found these white European Indians who could speak Welsh. That's Prince Llewellyn and his expedition. Oh yeah. Anyway, No One's Flower says here on Artemis 1, belief is the enemy of knowing. Correct, No One's Flower. Yes. Well, belief cannot be avoided. Everyone has beliefs, but I think it's important to be aware of what you've just. Once you're aware of what you said, you can introspect on your own beliefs. Tessa1111 says on Artemis, don't they use Antarctica to shoot for the moon, takeoff and landing? No. You can't actually launch rockets near the polar regions or even in the upper temperate areas because it needs to be in the area near the equator because that's where the Earth is spinning fastest. So the Earth is already spinning like at 12,000 miles an hour, whatever it is, in a certain direction, and only then can you launch rockets to escape velocity. If you launch them from the poles, it's like launching them from a standing start. There's no slingshot effect. RDH Panorama live stream, Michael Snow. Bugger, I missed this one. Not seen that Panorama show either. I think I'd end up throwing something at the screen if I did. Yeah, well, I almost did. I'll tell you, Michael, you're not missing much. Artemis 1, lights were low. Hi, Ben. Why does Miles J never comment on your videos? By the way, having looked at your content and his, I think you are far more grounded, just saying. Funnily enough, someone else asked a question about that later. Miles does occasionally comment, but I mean, basically, he's doing other things. He has a high and lonely destiny. He has more important things to attend to. But I'm glad you think I'm more grounded than Miles. I mean, to be honest, I think I am too. But Miles does a great job, and I respect him enormously. But we have our own specialities, basically. The Crafty Nihilist says on Ghostwatch 30, I refuse to watch it. Obviously, another Tavistock attempt to traumatise us. Yeah, I don't know, Crafty. I mean, War of the Worlds might well have been. I mean, you can bet psychologists were watching how people responded to it. Having looked into this, I don't think it was created for the Tavistock Institute. But that being said, I don't think it was a Tavistock attempt to traumatise us, but you can bet that Tavistock and its motley crew of accomplices were very carefully watching how people responded to it. They do, you see. They keep an eye on us for things like this. UFO Disclosure 2022 UAP report delayed. It still hasn't appeared. Crafty Nihilist says, last. Last. Now that's ambition, being the last person to comment on a video, isn't it? Hugo Rune says on the same video, last, +1. Say video, David Smith. No disclosure yet. Perhaps when Trump is next elected, he'll make it happen. If he doesn't get elected, it's the New World Order stopping him. And if he does get elected and doesn't announce disclosure, it's the New World Order stopping him. That's how it works, right? Well, it does seem to be very much the case, actually. I know you're being sarcastic and you're saying it's all confirmation bias, you know. If Trump does something good, oh, isn't Trump good? If Trump does something bad, oh, the bad guys are stopping him. But, you know, that's not far off the truth, I'm afraid. It's not far off the truth. It's a good question. I mean, I'll say more about this because I think mine, you know, in the new year, I traditionally start the year off with a UFO disclosure video. And I think this one is kind of going to be, it may well be called, Is It Over? Or something like that. Is that it? Because are they kind of like, I mean, I think Ross Coulthard was saying something. Ross Coulthard was saying something about this, and a couple of other people were saying they seem to be trying to make people forget about it. There was that stupid article that came out saying, "Oh, it's okay, we've worked it out. They were just drones," and then there was no UAP report. And I think they're hoping we'll just forget about it all. David Smith says on Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever film review, I don't really see all this cultural Marxism nonsense. Some people cry about. It's a film. It's fictional. As far as the Black Panther, the two Black Panther films go, I agree with you, David. There's very little, if any, cultural Marxism in them. You keep referring to Get Out. Didn't think much of that film, but I'm pretty sure the fact it was white people was part of the plot, which kind of goes with historical facts about slavery, etc. Of course, it doesn't mean that it was all white people's fault. It's just for the movie. Well, I'm glad you agree that Get Out wasn't up to much. I thought it was a pretty lousy film too myself. But I object to the conceptual. I do object to the conceptual elements within it about the way it portrays white people, which kind of goes with historical facts about slavery. He said, well, let's get the historical facts about slavery. Is that slavery was, all throughout history until recently, a pretty much universal thing that all people did. It's a sad and shameful thing, something that I'm not proud of, being human. But that's just the fact that it is. And do you notice I say being human, not being a white person? The idea that white people had slavery and black people were slaves, and that's all there is to it, is nonsense. Very often it was the other way round. Or very often black people enslaved other black people and white people enslaved other white people. Black people were involved in selling their fellow Africans to slave trades. I mean, there's this film called The Woman King, which is causing a bit of a stir, because if you look at the trailer, it looks very woke, but it's actually about the Dahomey Empire, which fought a war against the French in the 19th century. Do you know why? Because the French people were stopping the slave traders from docking their ships. The Dahomey Empire, slavery was a major part of their economy. So the Dahomey Empire went to war against the French Empire. Hang on a minute, you're stopping us selling our fellow Africans into slavery. How dare you? We're going to fight a war against you, froggies, until you let us sell slaves again. Now, see, it's all so the standard woke narrative, which you seem to believe is not true. You say it's just a movie. Yeah, it is just a movie. But you see, movies can change people's lives. Movies make people think in a certain way. Fiction is a kind of pseudo-reality that can sometimes be very real in people's minds. David goes on. I admit some movies have female characters in place of male cast. Looking at you, Ghostbusters, are just female cash-ins. Yeah, I've not actually watched the third Ghostbusters movie with the female one. I think it's the second one was so lousy. I think even if it had been all blokes, I wouldn't have watched it. I don't see anything wrong with it, though. It's not instilling the idea that women are better than men. It's just suggesting that women can do what men can do. These super strong female superheroes are just like that to me. Nothing troubling about it, apart from the quality of the movies themselves, Ghostbusters. I don't agree with that. I think it is pushed so hard. You get these very, very androgynous women, like in this particular film, like Okoye, like the other one, I can't remember her name, short-haired, flat-chested, muscular. It's it's to me, it would be easier, simply, and more appropriate just to make those characters male. And the thing is, it's everywhere now. It's everywhere. You're seeing women portrayed as strong and dominant, and men as either evil or weak. You know, like Ross in this particular film we're talking about here. You only see him in a couple of scenes, and he's being bossed about by his ex-wife, who's the CIA director, and then you see him in a prison van in handcuffs, and he's rescued by Okoye, who goes, colonist in change. That didn't bother me. That actual quip didn't bother me much. I thought it was just very light-hearted. David continues. It kind of reminds me of how some people say, well, I can't say that word, but it's a certain person's lives matters too, thinking they're making some kind of point. Black Lives Matter could be better understood calling Black Lives Matter too. It's really a simple concept that for some reason gets lost on some people. No, you see, I think you're seeing it too literally, David. You're imagining that the people who say things like that are just drawing these perfect circles of honesty. They're not. This is why they lose their excrement when Kanye West puts on a "You Know What Lives Matter" t-shirt, and then because he's being satirical. I mean, the thing is, Kanye has been cancelled now for his extreme behaviour, which I don't. I'm against cancellation altogether, but he made some tweets really a bit over the top, I must admit, and it's almost like he was committing professional suicide. But he was wearing obviously he was kind of trying to be edgy, but he was wearing these W Lives Matter t-shirts. If a white celebrity had done that, the cancellation would have been instantaneous. Kanye, in a sense, he's doing something that white people can't do in today's society, and that is defend white people. Kanye's a very wise man. He said a lot of very, very clever things, actually. So I partly agree with you, partly don't. UAP Disclosure 2022, Martin Taylor. Ben, Avi Loeb Laboratory is 5 minutes away from where Dark Journalist lives and works. But, wow! Martin, he should go over there and knock on his door. Is that Harvard? Does he live near Harvard University, where the astronomy thing is? Oh, wow, man. DJ should go over there and lock, or what's he called, Daniel List, his real name is. He should go over there and knock on Avi's door and say, Professor Loeb, I want to interview you. Tell me about Oumuamua. Tell me about what you're doing. I would. I'll tell you. I'd love to interview that guy. As he had a bit of trouble securing interviews, actually. Ross Cool thought he was actually going to be on my show, and then he ghosted me. I think I've developed a bit of a reputation of being a bit too loony for some people, you know. Right, Disclosure 2022, UAP report delayed. Israel Diego Rivera Genius to the Real Genius says quite a few alien bodies, including the Gateshead Grey. Yeah, it's not just Roswell, it's a whole load of them. The Gateshead Grey was in 1940 in Gateshead, Northumberland. Yeah, that was interesting, that was, wasn't it? I do suspect that was real, actually, judging by the witness and the things he was talking about. Yeah. Delights Willow says, Hi Ben, I just listened to your show Talk HPANWO Radio on Spreaker this week. Is it me or does everyone... What is this? Oh, right. Is it me or does everyone discussing anything that was built 1,000 years ago or put up a 5G mast or wind turbine, secret base, nuclear installation, UFO sightings, always want to link it to ley lines? Not everybody likes Willow, but a lot of people do. Yeah, a lot of people claim that these things are on ley lines, yeah. I haven't looked into it in detail. Miles, one of the speakers, you must have been listening to the show I did with Miles. One of the speakers at the upcoming Bases Project Christmas seminars, he's a specialist in that. Lightwell continues. I know you are aware, but there are so many of these lines, it could be more difficult to find a space without them. Your flat is probably where to cross. I'm sure the builder was unaware you would end up living there. Just saying, it just comes up all the time. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Lights Below. You know what? I don't know where all the lines are. I know that there's the Michael and Mary line, where you have Stonehenge, Salisbury Cathedral, etc. on a line. I don't know where all the others go. I don't know. It depends how many there are, because of course, if they're all over the place, it's like a spider's web. So when a fly flies into the spider's web, you could say, "Oh, blimey! It's actually hit one of the web. It's actually hit one of the web strands. Isn't that amazing? What a coincidence! There's a fly that just happens to hit this web strand." When of course, when he's flying to a spider's web, he can't. The fly can't avoid hitting anything other than web strands. Otherwise, the spider wouldn't bother spinning the web to catch the fly. it depends how many there are, and I mean, I don't. It's not a speciality of mine. I don't have a ley line map and where all the 5G towers and secret bases and things are. But it does. You're right. That theorists will come up with ideas that include both ancient structures and modern. Yeah, it could be Machu Picchu, or it could be the Svalbard seed vault. You know, it's all those things. Crafty Nihilist, UFO disclosure. Ben, is now a good time to ask you what your thoughts on disclosure are? Well, let me begin by... Go away, shut up! I'll tell you, Crafty, I'll be doing my next UFO disclosure video will probably be in the new year. And I already know kind of what it's going to be about. I'm going to be asking, is this whole thing just going away? So is the whole 2017 thing being just wheeled back? And I think... See, Ross Coulthard has said this, and several other people have. Yeah. Could be. Nihilist Lives Matter says on UFO Disclosure, Star is a beautiful story. It asks what kind of god would sacrifice one civilization for another. Yeah. It's if you've not read The Star by Arthur C. Clarke, please do so. It's a short story, and Arthur C. Clarke is very good at short stories. This one is like a 5-minute read, but it is incredible. It's astonishing. There's no dialogue in it. It's just a narrative by one of the characters, it's sad. It's a heartbreaking, tragic story. It really is. I read it every year on my Christmas specials on PANWO Radio. But it's interesting from it asks. It is in a way it's kind of a Christmas story. It is kind of a Christmas story. The Star. But it's a very tragic one. It's a science fiction one set in the future. But it asks, as Nihilist Lives Matter has said, it's a bit of a spoiler actually. What kind of god would sacrifice one civilization for another? Yeah, it asks these important points. Someone of conventional Christian faith would probably have a lot of time dealing with it. It is about Christianity and things like that, which Clarke often brought up. Actually, for a man without faith, an atheist, he was very interested in theology. UFO disclosure. BZ Garson, when did you beat the mumbles in a debate? In your head? Oh my goodness me. BZ, where do you want me to start? Just go for all the videos I've made about Steve. Go for all the comments. I mean, he has. I've not proved him wrong on every single thing, but generally, I call him out quite well, I think. So you say in your head? No. I mean, if you watch my channel regularly, you'll know that's not true. Look at all the reply videos I've made to him. I might even make another. You never know, because he's just made it's ages since I made reply videos to Steve mumbling. I really shouldn't I? David Smith says, like the NWO, Steve remains undefeated. That is untrue about neither of them, David. The NWO is being defeated, and Steve has been too. UFO disclosure, David Smith. The last few weeks, YouTube seems to have messed about with the channel layouts. Yeah, I noticed that. The bloody bastards. They fiddle with it again. Now, look, they've got the titles and the description boxes are all different. Everything's in a different place. It's one of these changes for change's sake kind of thing. Well, what we're going to do? Oh, let's just move this button there. Let's move that button there. Let's screw around with their heads. And this kind of thing, you get this all the time. They fix things which aren't broken, and things that are broken, they just leave them to fall apart. It's annoying. David says, sometimes when I click on videos, the most recent I see are from months ago, and I have to click on home to see recent uploads. And I think your live rocket launch video is gone. No, the rocket launch video is still there, David. But I've noticed this too. I actually mentioned it in some of my videos, at least one, where you Google for something on YouTube, and what you get is a load of irrelevant stuff, irrelevant kind of tangents in your responses. So they've changed the design, they've changed the layout, and they've also messed about with the bloody. They've also messed about with the damn search algorithms again. And BZ said they've messed about with the interface. You can't find live videos next to the video link. Yeah, that is the most annoying thing. If you go to someone's channel, right, and all the live streams on a separate bloody tab now. It's on my channel. Look at this. Oh god, this is annoying. This is a pain in the buttocks. It really is. And see, as always, you can't find my damn. Have you noticed actually the Amazon Black Friday ads are like the Amazon Black Friday ad features a Yeti or Bigfoot-like creature. Have you seen that? Oh, here we go. You see, so here's the videos. Go to videos there, and there's these big supergiant icons here. Blah blah blah. Can you see that all, guys? Right, yeah. So where's my live streams? Oh, you got to go to another tab, and here's all my live streams on a separate tab. I don't want that. I don't want my live streams on a separate damn tab. Can't they at least make it an option for users? Can't they at least change the shape of the buttons? Oh, yes. Aren't we clever? No, you're not clever. You're just fiddling. You're fiddling, YouTube. You're fiddling. You're fiddling with things because you've got nothing better to do with your life. Because, you know, you have algorithms to do the censorship now. So you think, well, what are we going to do? I know, let's move this around. Let's move that around. Let's mess with their heads. Yeah. And David Smith says underneath to BZ, completely unnecessary. Must be a way to change it because some channels still have a simpler layout. I don't know. You're right. It's completely unnecessary. But I say there was nothing wrong with the layout before. In fact, the last change they made was pretty much unnecessary too. I wish they just left it as it had. You know, they could literally just have left the layout pretty much unchanged. Because it's been a good layout actually since YouTube started in 2005. They could have just left it like that, made a few adaptations. They've been better improving it on, like, they've improved it on the technical side. So, you know, it's not just 10-minute videos, things like that. But they could have left the layout pretty much as it was back then because it was pretty good. UFO disclosure. Steve Mumbling says, how would you know how satisfying it is to beat me in a debate? What do you mean how? It's never happened. Steve, it happens all the time, Steve. The report is delayed because there's nothing to disclose. Apparently, there's a lot of infighting among the Pentagon UAP people. Well, I agree. I disagree with the first sentence completely. The second sentence does seem to be a possibility. Actually, there's a lot of infighting among the, what's it called now? AIMSOG. The UAP UFO fanboys from the TTSA are peddling the UFO science fiction stories, and the serious military people are saying there's no tangible evidence of ET visits. Well, firstly, I've lost my opinion of TTSA has dropped quite recently. They still haven't produced after raising $2 million. They're still not producing this vehicle they said they were going to produce. I didn't give them any money, by the way. Serious military people they say lots of different things. Some come out and say yes, there is evidence of ET visitation. The problem is like there was a silly article from a newspaper saying, "Oh, we've worked it all out. Don't worry, it's all drones." There was this like case closed, kind of stupid case closed article, and then this is a bit like the Doug and Dave story for the crop circles. You know, that's it. Oh, it's all mystery solved. That's it. Let's stop talking about it. And then the UAP report doesn't come out when they said they were going to release it. Why not? And they're trying to make us forget about it, you see. My disclosure, Steve Mumbling. Why don't you do a video explaining exactly why you find nothing suspicious about the Artemis launch, yet doubt the Apollo launches? What differences do you see? Steve, I've already done an entire video talking about that. All right. If you what's it? No. Sorry. I did. I went into a little bit on the Artemis 1 video, the live stream. However, there was an Apollo Detectives coming very soon indeed. And when it does, you may even be uploaded now. Let's have a look. When it does, we go to that in more detail, and I will be putting up one on my. I will be putting up a version of that on my video. Let's have a look. Nope, not there. Well, it's not up yet, but it will be at some point. But Steve, basically, there's a new Apollo Detectives video coming very soon about that, which I'll upload when it arrives. But I do go into this a little bit on the Artemis 1 live stream. Some of the people in live chat were asking similar questions. Okay, so I am covering it, and the differences do come out. UFO disclosure, Steve Mumbling. What is the provenance for the logo with the flying saucer on it? Even if it is real, it could just be someone's sense of humour. someone's sense of humour, Steve. This is a government department we're talking about here. Someone's sense of humour. This isn't a frat boys sort of get-together. This is a government department. They don't have senses of humour. I think if it I'm still don't know exactly what the story is behind that logo. But if it turns out to be some leak or something real, we've got to ask, why is that? Why? Same video, Steve mumbling again. Why do you think Pan-STARRS didn't detect any of the many alien spacecraft you believe are coming here? Why would they announce the detection of Oumuamua even when some thought it might be an alien spacecraft, yet not announce one single interstellar spacecraft visit? All right. The reason is, firstly, Pan-STARRS is unable to detect a lot of them. In fact, they can't be detected by other means as well, including visual sightings on the ground and radar, until sometimes they just seem to appear out of nowhere, which means they have some ability to sort of appear and disappear, like a Star Trek beam me up Scotty kind of thing. As for Oumuamua, right, the Oumuamua was actually not possible to. Why did they announce what does it say? They announced the detection of Oumuamua even when some thought it might be an alien spacecraft. Well, the reason Oumuamua is different is because with Oumuamua it actually wasn't really possible to do anything else, because this is a large object in the sky with a distinct physical presence that does not change. So it wasn't just appearing and disappearing, it was actually on a trajectory through the solar system. It was detected by astronomers. Now, once astronomers start detecting things, you can't really cover that up, because Steve, there are simply too many telescopes. And there are too many astronomers. Astronomy is the one truly democratic science. All the data is above our head. You can't have a cover-up in astronomy. Now, it's very different from a crash retrieval. A crash retrieval of an alien spacecraft is something very different. It's a strictly local affair. You just have to, the flow of information is totally different. You just get the police and army to seal it off, get rid of the physical evidence, put in a cover story about weather balloons or something, and then you just open it up and pretend nothing happened. So it's a completely different scenario you're talking about here. Steve says here, it's because there aren't any interstellar spacecraft visiting. Yes, there are. And Oumuamua was just a rock. If it's a rock, how come it can change course? Rocks can't do that. Steve, just try throwing a rock on a day outside when there's no wind. See what it does. Now, if it sort of like goes like that and goes zoom like that, all right, you'll have proved your point. If it doesn't, if it just follows the standard ballistic trajectory as you'd expect, slightly, you take a little bit off for air friction and just lands, then if this ballistic arc nice and smooth, then you realise that Oumuamua is something very, very different. The reason ET is the least likely explanation for any incident is the distance between the stars. It may be possible to travel from star to star in science fiction or in theory. It may just not be physically possible for any species, however advanced they may be. There is zero tangible evidence to support one single ET spacecraft crash. All this crash and alien bodies nonsense is precisely that. Absolute rubbish. Science fiction. Well, I disagree totally, Steve. I disagree totally. There's more than enough tangible evidence to support multiple ET spacecraft crashes. Now, the distance between stars is an interesting thing, right? It could be that they have found some way to build wormholes. I mean, there's nothing in the laws of physics that preclude the creation of wormholes. That is, essentially, areas of space artificially created that bypass the normal space-time continuum. It could explain why they keep appearing and disappearing. That's one point. Which, of course, that is a common plot device in science fiction, as you say. And it's just because something is science fiction doesn't mean that it's not real. It's maybe something that's not real yet. I mean, Arthur C. Clarke in particular, who I've referred to several times in my videos, he seemed to have a particular knack, actually, of prediction. He imagined a future in which there were satellites circling the Earth, relaying messages from the ground and taking photographs for weather forecasting and things like that. Yeah, he envisioned all these things decades before they actually occurred. He wrote a very good book actually called Islands in the Sky, which is kind of aimed at young adults. And that was my first Arthur C. Clarke book. I read that when I was about 13. And it was excellent. It was written in I think sometime in the, let's have a look when it was written. A lot of his best stuff actually was in the 50s before Sputnik. Islands in the Sky, Arthur C. Clarke. Yeah, this is a book worth reading, mate. It really is. It's a 1952 science fiction novel by Arthur C. Clarke. It's one of his earliest works. Yeah, this is well worth reading. This is well. If you've not seen this, Steve, it's well worth reading. This is good. Now, that's a first edition. There's others now. It's got a different cover now. Yeah, this is well worth reading, mate. It really is. Here we go. That's the edition I've got there with that cover, and that's Roy, a young teenage boy who wins. He wins in a competition and manages to go up to a space station. Yeah, very, very good book. And that was in 1952. That was long before anyone actually, according to official history, anyone went into space. But it's incredible foresight, imagination. I mean, in the early 70s, he wrote a book called Imperial Earth, where everybody has a minisec. A minisec is a small computer that everyone carries around with them in their pockets. All these years later, what we got here? I've even got a special HPANWO one. Yeah, how about that? Anyway, so it's not nonsense, and saying something is science fiction does not make it untrue. TK said, aliens and ghosts and monsters, all love it here. Yes, me too, mate. Aliens, ghosts and monsters all love it here. This is the place for them. Yeah, David Smith says, it was a piece of old alien text, Steve. I said it. Someone claimed it, so it's true. No, it's not. That it could be, David. The thing is, no, someone claimed it. The person claiming it, Professor Avi Loeb, provides evidence for why he thinks it's that, for why he thinks it's not a natural object. And he has a case that needs answering. It changes course. It changes course when it's beyond the orbit of Jupiter. It's not outgassing if it's changing course. It's not an outgassing comet. What is it? Disclosure here, Stephen mumbling. If they detected an artificial object entering our solar system and heading our way, I wouldn't be too quick to celebrate. It may get here and disperse a bioweapon in the atmosphere that could kill us all within a few days because they want this planet for themselves. Well, Steve, that's always that would I'm sure be on everyone's mind. If an artificial object, entered the Earth's solar system and headed our way, especially if it seemed to be heading to the Earth, I'm sure that all the armed forces would be on high alert, and hope we can do something about it. At the same time, they might not be. They might be come in peace. They might come in peace. Artemis 1 Barry T says, with news, they will print, say, report, or whatever they think will bring the most views, which typically equates to whichever can cause the most outrage. Hence your mate making the front cover of the tabloids not long ago. Oh, Richard D. Hall, yes. I don't think he described me as a mate, but yeah, that was a horrible article they wrote about him. Sometimes they'll put a spin on it, left, right, centre, etc., and sometimes they won't and just report facts. Sometimes they'll add a few of their own. Yeah, they certainly add a few of their own, don't they? Yeah, and they twist the ones they find. It's all politics and big business. No need for a new world order. Our world already has enough parties with vested interests. But I'd argue the news can mostly be pretty trusted for facts. I disagree with the last bit and the first bit. You see, you say there's no need for a new world order. Well, then you have to explain why all these supposedly independent power grabbers are gravitating in certain directions. It's as if they are obeying some kind of centralized policy. Mistakes will still happen. They might hear with all the about a building that looks like it's going to fall by a seasoned firefighter and report it before it happens, but mistakes like that can happen. I think saying a building has collapsed when it hasn't is more than a big mistake. I've heard the skeptics go on about the third tower, things like there's that third tower documentary from the BBC. Makes no sense at all. Nobody actually said the building had fallen before it did. They did say they had to get clear of it in case it did. That's standard practice. If a building is burning very fiercely, bits of it could fall off at a certain point. So you do actually see a fireman warning people to stay back. Yeah. I think the media telling the facts about the missiles show it can be trusted, at least sometimes, and that puts a dent in conspiracy claims about them lying on other events. I don't know, but I thought it was very strange. It's not that they told a fact, Barry T. It's that the fact they supposedly revealed ran contrary to the agenda. They're supposed to be blaming Russia for everything, and then they say, oh no, this one's not Russia's fault. Someone actually said something to me that made me think, maybe Zelensky's he's kind of worn out his welcome a little bit with the globalists. He's become a bit of a liability. It could be that. Barry T says, news. Look at all this evidence showing a tragic event backed by witnesses and several lines of independent verification with people in science, engineering and other technical backgrounds. Conspiracy theorists. They're lying. Didn't show every frame of the event. They're obviously hiding something. No, hang on a sec. It's the other way around. It's you've got these things. What your space? Let me just paraphrase what you just said. Conspiracy theorists look at the evidence of a tragic event and backed by witnesses, independent verification with people in science, engineering and other technical backgrounds. That would be the conspiracy theorists saying that. Then the news said, no, these are loonies. They're tinfoil hatters. It was 19 men with box cutters. It was some guys with backpacks. It was some crazy kid who was a bit of a dropout. And you shouldn't listen to these experts. Barry carries on here. Ex-military guy, I worked with aliens on the moon. Conspiracy theorist, I knew it, they have bases on the moon. Well, firstly, which ex-military guy do you mean? Because they vary in quality. A lot of them do. The thing is, a lot of the conspiracy theorists, of which I'm a part, don't actually say, I knew it, they had bases on the moon. A lot of them actually do turn to people like that and say, hang on a minute, what's this guy talking about? Is he for real? So I think that's a misrepresentation of the situation, Barry, basically. Bernie Tucker says on Artemis 1, Ben, if the rockets were fired from Russia, it would be an attack on NATO, and that would be very serious. Yeah. It was actually Zelensky who proposed that they were Russian. He started shouting. He was shouting, trigger the Article 5 of NATO now. This is an attack. This is an attack. I think there could be at that point. This is why someone told me they think that they walked back the story, because they don't actually want a massive nuclear fireball yet. They may have one planned for the future, but not just yet. And Zelensky's become a bit of a liability as a result. We have Triple T here, Tommy Time Television on Artemis 1. In England and Wales, wet fart players want to wear political Live Like Us armbands during the World Cup. FIFA have announced yellow cards for every player who wears them, keeping politics out of football. The news stations are furious. I imagine if Iran, Qatar war, Live Like Us armbands protect our way of life. England are there to do a job to try and win. People go to sport to get away from politics. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. The whole politics. It's a bit funny. I mean, I tell you what, Sargon of Akkad has done a very good commentary on this. About how, suddenly they're faced with like people who are really anti-woke in a way that Western white men are not. And the lefties don't know how to deal with it because these are victim populations. They're protected classes. Yet they're saying, no, you can't actually wear these rainbow-coloured things in our stadium because it's against our religion. Oh dear! I mean, people go to sport to get away from politics, but unfortunately, it's turned out to be impossible. Sport has always been political, and it goes back through history. But I mean, it may have its origins in the ancient world when people would actually play sports as a way of resolving political conflict. It was literally you play a game of something to resolve political conflict. In some societies, it was an alternative to war. And I mean, very often play a sport. Very often these sports were deadly, and people would get killed in the process of the competition. But it was still seen as an alternative to war, and that's kind of the same now. Do you remember, like for example, there's the famous USA versus Soviet Union basketball match in one of the Olympics, and there was a lot of fuss over. It was USA. USSR basketball. in one of the Olympics, the basketball final. Yeah, it was the 1972 Olympic men's basketball final. This was the last game of the year. One of the most controversial events in Olympic history. Mired in controversy, the Soviet Union defeated Team USA by 1 point, making the latter's first ever loss in the event. Both the US and the USSR won their first 8 games of the tournament. So this was like the big, and of course there was a lot of fuss because there was appeal. They had a big sit-in, and they had a massive sit-in in the it's in the stadium. Men's basketball Olympics. Yeah, there was a massive hoo-ha about it. You can actually see it. It's quite fun. It's quite fun to watch actually, because they go nuts about it. Look, it's exciting. I mean, it's incredibly exciting. Because they're like, at one point you think the Americans have got it, and then there's like the ref calls extra time, and then one guy then throws in a long he throws in a long ball. I mean, I used to play basketball, and this sort of thing was a nightmare. Some guy would throw in a long ball from outside the D, and it would go in, and it was like gold, you know.
Over to Jim Forbes. Jim Forbes, Texas at El Paso.
Whoa, good, nice goal, man. Nice one.
40 seconds, the U.S. down by 1. Forbes now with 4 points.
Yeah.
Tommy Henderson.
If you can watch it later, but you see here we have USA 48, USSR 49, and eventually they call extra. I think they equal the USA, like get ahead, and then I can't remember the exact details, but then they think it's all over, and then the ref says no, we got a minute and a half of stoppage time, play on, and then the USR get the long ball in, and then they win, and the Americans get really annoyed. They sit down, they have a big sit-in on the ground, things like that. So unfortunately, that's just another example of how this ancient tradition of conflict in sport spills over into conflict in the real life. I'd like to be able to say get away from sport and things. I'd like to be able to get away from politics and sport, but you can't. You can't, yeah. And this World Cup, I think World Cup historians will call this, the unfriendly World Cup. As it is, I think Wales are out of it. I mean, well, let's have a look. That we drew with we drew with Iran, and then we drew with the USA, and then what happened next? Results: today's fixtures: Cameroon, Serbia, Brazil, South Korea, Ghana. Here we go. Yeah, we're in a bad way. If you look at the team, England at the top of the group. 4 points. Iran got 3. USA 2. Wales 1. And we see everyone's played 2 matches now. England have, Wales are -2 down. They got it, and basically England's got 4 goals in hand. Wales will have to score 4 goals to actually qualify now against England when they play England. It's looking bad. It's looking bad indeed. Okay, well anyway, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. I'm not here to talk about football. You can always, when it comes to men, right, if you want to distract men, just talk about football or put football on the TV, and then that's it. We're like hypnotised. We're like rabbits in headlights. Bailiffs out of the blue, another old one. David D says, go OT Bills and Exchange Act 1882, Section 23, as your debt has gone. Right, well, if that's the case, David, then the credit bond should be dissolved, and so instead someone is getting bloody rich off it on the stock market, aren't they? Moment of Contact Watch Party live stream, Crafty Nihilist. I could be first, but I choose not to. Oh, Crafty. Big Bobby Dazzler says on Moment of Contact live stream, Ben, I enjoy your videos, but your stance on protecting Mr. Parks is unbelievable. The man is clearly a grifter. Do you actually watch his work? He talks utter bullshit. I'm not talking about this stuff about women. It's his so-called info. Any sane, level-headed person can clearly deduce the man is peddling lies. I feel you are on his side, merely due to the personal attack aspect, but I feel this has clouded your judgment. I hope this doesn't come back to bite you, because the truth will come out eventually. And the CC cult leader's deceit. Sorry, about the CC cult leader's deceit. All right, firstly, I've been following Simon Parkes before all this women controversy, so it's got nothing to do with that. Secondly, I don't believe every word he says. You know, it's like protecting. I mean, you say protecting Simon Parkes. I watch his work. Yeah, well, I watch it, and he talks out of bullshit. Now, I don't agree with you saying, well, any level-headed person can deduce he's peddling lies and things like that. I think you're marginalising me there. I watch his things. I don't believe everything he says. But you see, as you know, I think the 17th letter is real. I made an entire video explaining why I think the 17th letter is real. And so, I mean, I'm aware I have biases, but I put together a rational case for it. And you say it's clouded my judgment and things like that. I think that's unfair. And I'm protecting, you say, my stance on protecting Mr. Parkes. I'm defending him because basically, so far, no one else really has. He has a group of people who are convinced he's guilty and they make 4-hour live streams talking about how evil he is. And they have these little Me Too heroines who come on and said, Simon Parkes, he did this and he did that, and he did this and he did the other, and stuff like that. And we stand beside you and we stand with you. And they simp to these Me Too little femme fatales. And then they say, we're interviewing more women right now about Simon Parkes' predatory behaviour. And I go, I've written an article about this, by the way, and then I say, okay, have you called the police? No. Well, hang on. You are interviewing women about why are the police not doing it? Why are a bunch of bloody hashtag bantams doing it and not the police? Well, we thought it was better that we'll call the police next week. You see, it's just another internet lynch mob. It's another piece of ridiculous drama. This is why we need to practice my idea of a tribunal system. And you say here that I'm, what did you say? I'm protecting Mr. What did you say here? I'm on his side. I don't know what you mean by on his side. I think he's right about some things. And I don't like seeing anybody. It's not him particularly, but anybody being targeted with accusations which are not backed up and cannot be, and when there's no recourse. Because I've been in that situation. I've been on the receiving end of that, Big Bobby Dazzler. If you follow my channel, you'll know that I have so often been on the receiving end of that. About the CC cult. I'm not a member of Connecting Consciousness. Never have been. Alright? I've never given Simon Parkes a single penny. I've never bought any of his products. So, does that count as not being a member of the CC cult? Anyway, let's move on now. We've got a moment of contact live stream again. Max Q says here, as I posted in the live comments, NASA cut to the animation because of a loss of signal due to the moon being between the Earth and the spacecraft. You did, yes, you did. It was made clear many times on the stream that this would happen and when. Also, we saw the Earth disappear behind the moon on the stream just before the LOS. I watched the Apollo Detectives 10 today, and I must say Dr. Raza, spelling, talks some nonsense. For example, he claims to shelter the crew from the radiation situation. The Artemis astronauts will enter the European service module. I would like Raza to explain how the astronauts get to the ESM from the Orion capsule and how they fit inside even if they could. Orion's heat shield is between it and the ESM. There's no way to get from one to the other and no room for the astronauts even if they could. Right, well, I don't know, I can't remember what Raza said about that. I mean, you're right about the design of the Orion spacecraft. I've seen the design. It's similar to the Apollo. I mean, in Apollo, there was the heat shield between the command module and the service module. In fact, in order to retrieve the photographs from the service module, they had to do an EVA. One of the astronauts had to get out and crawl along the side of the spaceship and then pull the film cartridges out. As for the rest of it, I take your point. You explained in the live stream exactly why they switched to telemetry animation. Now, was a recording made, though? Did Orion actually make a recording while it was on the dark side of the moon? And has that recording been transmitted to the Earth so we can watch it? Same video, Steve mumbling, Fox, like yourself, is a UFO fanboy. That's why he makes UFO films. Well, I think it's a derogatory way of putting it, but that's correct. I think the word fanboy is wrong. He's a UFO researcher, and he's interested in UFOs, and that's why he makes UFO films. Yes. Look at the background behind Fox, and then look at yours. See any difference? Well, Fox is not a brother porter. I don't think he's ever been a hospital porter, Steve, so that makes all the difference. He seems to be doing well for himself out of this UFO nonsense, doesn't he? He's earning a living, and well, so what's wrong with that? He's a filmmaker. He gets paid for what he does. Like many, he earns a lot less money than most film directors, I'll tell you, and most people in the movie industry. If he wanted it any different, if he wanted it to be different, then he wouldn't make films about UFOs. He'd make films about LGBTQI issues and about how evil white people are and how all black people are victims and white people are evil and things like that. Because if he made a film like that, Steve, he'd do much better for himself. Let's face it, wouldn't he? And another Apollo Detectives, great. I could do with a laugh. I hope Henderson presented his Moon-Earth path loss calculations to support his ridiculous inverse square law argument. I don't think Scott's actually in this one, if I recall. Otherwise, people will think he's just a know-nothing layman like the rest of you. All right, well, you'll have to wait until Scott comes back on the show. He wasn't on this particular one. We do have some other interesting new guests, though, Steve. You'll be with people who've not been on before. A lot of the old loyalists are there. You know, there's Marcus Allen Jarrah White. They're there, but some of the others are not. Anyway, we're not know-nothing laymen. We are people who research. Dr. Jarrah White is a PhD in astrophysics, so that's not a know-nothing layman, is it? Here we go. Right, we have Cat Squatch returns on Moment Contact Watch Party Day live stream. Just to be clear, Simon Parkes is a dirty scumbag con man. He's a joke. Right, Cats, right. That's it. I'm posting you the link now. Perhaps you could explain this. Right, here we go. Where is it? Here we go. Just have a look at this article here I wrote. People can pause and read it if they want. I'm tired of this nonsense, Cat Squatch returns. So again, you say you make an accusation against a man. What about the defence? You interested in hearing the defence case, Cat Squatch returns, or are you just going to jump on the old bandwagon? Are you, because you see a 3-hour live stream of people going Simon Parkes is horrible, and some bird going, oh, I'm a woman. Oops, there we go. End of an hour. I'm a woman, and Simon Parkes has said something that's been nasty to me. Are you going to then... Is that how you base it on? Is that what you do? Cat Squatch returns? Have you ever done jury service, Cat Squatch returns? I hope not, because if you do, I don't bloody well want to be in court that day. Because you'll be sitting there in the jury benches going, what do you mean What do you mean the defence? We don't want to hear the defence. We've heard the prosecution, and that's good enough for us. Lock him up. Lock him up now. Guys, that's the end of another hour. So, okay, guys, hour number 3 now. Basically, like I said, I hope people watched that. I hope people watch the links. So go to the links where I've written my article about Simon Parkes and about how he's been treated and about how we need some kind of civilized. We need to handle this in a civilized manner. Internet. Internet. Kangaroo courts are not the way we decide innocence from guilt. Yet that's how it's often done these days, and I've been the target of this. I still get nasty messages from people saying, oh, you did this, you did that. And I saw people unfriending me for no reason, and just... what are we going to do, Cat Squatch returns, okay, in the post-Illuminati world? Because, we're addicted to the Illuminati like a drug. And there are no rehab centres for us to check into. We're going to have to do cold turkey. There's going to be a transitional period which is going to be very, very turbulent. And it's going to be made a lot worse if people who are now supposedly civilised, now we don't have the deep state to hold our hand, we're going to sort things out by... We're going to go back to medieval times and have witch burnings. We're all going to get our torches and pitchforks and go after people like Simon Parkes and Linda Moulton Howe, are we? Larry Warren, Darren Perks, me. Is that what you want? Do you want to live in that kind of world? What about when you were the target of one of these? If someone points to him and said, he did something bad. Oh, let's go get him. Do you want that? Think about what you're saying, all right? Because right now you're the accuser, but at one point, a time could come when you'll be the accused. What are you going to do then, eh, mate? Okay, and Cat Squatch returns. Okay, I said actually underneath here in text. I see. Could you cite the court ruling that proves this, please? And I've already put enough on that now. Now, Cat Squatch says here. Cat Squatch returns. Funny enough, he calls himself 93. Cat Squatch returns 93. 93 is in Roman numerals. Is the legal system the only metric you'll accept? Come on, Ben. What about those stickers he was selling to protect against 5G? His links to Charlie Ward. All the total lols the Pentagon is using a nobody driving instructor to put out info and the 17th letter. 17th letter? Come on. Well, I've already talked to you about the 17th letter, haven't I? About what I think about it. As for the rest of it, you know, Cat Squatch, what you just said sounds to me like a prosecution case. Would you be willing to present it at a proper tribunal? Because I would like, if so, perhaps you'll help me in setting one up, because I'd like to establish tribunals where these things are arranged in a civilized manner. I mean, we slag off people like the Muslims for having their Sharia courts and things like that. They have their Sharia law, but then they're doing what we should be doing. We should be setting up our own community justice. Ugh. And Scatchwatch says again, he replies to me again, stop being autistic. What? Stop being autistic? I'm asking you for a ruling which is done through due process, which proves the accusation you made in the opening post. Simon Parkes is, and I quote, a dirty scumbag and con man and a joke. Well, the jokes, it's not an offence being a joke, but apart from that, you know, you make an accusation, and I'm asking you for evidence, and you go, stop being autistic. Can't you just join in me? Simon Parkes is a scumbag. Simon Parkes is a scumbag. Na 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 na. Is that what you want me to do? Is that how one stops being autistic? You're usually great at catching at the frauds. Why not give your view of his cons and connections and then work with the con men I gave? Clashwas, I've just posted you a link to an article I've written on this very subject. Check it out. We don't live under a just system. There is no justice in this field. All right. So is your solution? And you say here, and I've experienced myself. The scales tipped one way in the hand, while justice still doesn't see through her blindfold. A man. The man's all right. Now, so you're saying we don't live under a justice system. There's no justice in this field. I've experienced it myself. Okay. So your solution to this is, we don't live in a just system. I've experienced it. So I'm going to be as unfair as everyone else. That way, someone else can step forward and be the one to try and change things. I'm not going to. I'm just going to go along with it. It's a dog eat dog. You're sounding a bit Charles-like here. It's a dog eat dog world, man. I'm not going to do the impression when I turn my back. It's the law of the jungle, survival of the fittest. All right. Well, in that case, so that means someone else will just have to do it for you. Then Cat Squatch returns. You say underneath here, the man is a cunt-arsed gibbon tit embarrassment. All right, I don't think it's actually against the law. I don't think it's actually a legal claim to call someone a cunt-arsed gibbon tit. I just think that's very funny. So at least you ended this little diatribe with a bit of wit, which I appreciate. All right, let's move on, shall we? Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever, the film review. The Crafty Nihilist says, I wonder where Mark went. And there's a timestamp here. What's this?
Some weirdo over there. It's right.
Yeah, Liz, half of the Crafty Nihilist, wondering where the other half went. Yes, he was wandering the streets of Oxford after downing half a bottle of brandy. Notice of Vault-Tec exclusive medical misinformation film. Right, yes, this is the one I made. This was just letting you know about the review I wrote to what should I call it? Expired without warning. Yes. Tina Silver says hi B, and I say on my I put a love heart there for myself because I replied to her on my backup channel. But I'm replying to her on this one now. Same video, Pat Riot. That was harder than watching the original film. It just shows how much. It just shows how much money is going into trashing a documentary which costs so little. P.S. Sadhguru is the guy with the beard. Oh right, yeah, that was right. Let's have a look, because there was this bloke. Yeah, there's this bloke at Davos. Sadhguru. It's this chap here. It's him, yeah. This bloke here. Look at him. This is the guy. Yes, this is the guy who's saying, "No, I want. Some people want more people, but I want less people." This is him, Sadhguru, Isha Foundation of India. Let me just try and find the video. I'm just going to try and find the video of him at WEF. All right. Oh, does he have a channel? He have his own channel. He probably has his own channel.
If you just happen to be
which is
in the
monetized.
wrong
Yes,
time.
he does. He does. Sadhguru. He's not Sadhguru. He's a H. Sadhguru, WEF 20. Oh, he went to the WEF 22 thing in India. Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. Let's have a watch of this, shall we? This will be fun. This is what I was talking about here.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is really...
Oh, bugger, shut up, you silly cow. Oh, thank goodness there's a skip button. Circle of Blue.
I'm J. Carl Ganter here
Hang on, isn't Circle of Blue one of the guys? Oh, no, I'll just carry
at
on
the World
here.
Economic Forum's India Economic Summit, and I'm here with Sadhguru, who just finished a panel. Thank you so much. If there was one thing, talking about water and talking about the world and human impact, what have we seen about humans' actions? What's wrong, and then how do we make a shift in...
See, most human beings are looking at soil, food, water, air as 2/3 of your body is water. So, when you treat a life-making material…
Okay, so we're talking about a price and a value. Some of those…
without changing the basic way, nothing is going to change. I'm picking on agriculture because the way we… Yes, the planet is textiles. Most people…
Oh, that's enough of that. This is the guy, anyway. You can watch this film. It's a 4-minute… I'm not going to go through this entire video. A conversation with Sadhguru at the World Economic Forum's India Economic Summit, yeah. This is the guy I was talking about. Thanks for letting me know. Thanks for letting me know, Pat Riot. Yeah, he's… yeah, that's it. Lapis Conference 2022, crafty nihilist. Why wouldn't Miles be seen dead at a Lapis conference, Ben? Alright, I did say Miles wouldn't be seen dead at a place like this. The reason is... am I still filming here? Let's check I'm still recording. Yes, I am. The reason is I haven't actually started the timer this time. I don't think I'm going to need it. This is nearly at the end now. Crafty nihilist, the reason is that Miles is, when it comes to the scale of woo versus sort of skeptic, Miles is very, very far extreme on the woo side. I mean, he's even further than me, which is really saying something. If you imagine the skeptics over here and the extreme woo is over there, right? Miles is sort of here. I'm kind of there, so I'm quite close to Miles, not quite as extreme. The skeptics, things like the... QEDCon and the amazing meeting, the skeptic conferences are over here. Lapis is kind of in the middle. It's kind of there. So you actually can be a skeptic and go to Lapis. I mean, they've had David Clark there. They've had Jenny Randalls there, who's become a kind of skeptic, and people like they have people who are quite a skeptic bent at Lapis. Now Miles actually is he's very, like I say, he's very far to the woo side of that. As a result, he wouldn't. I don't think they would have a problem with him. In fact, there's a number of people there who know him and they respect him, but I think Miles would. I don't know specifically. I'd have to ask him. But knowing Miles quite well personally, I would say that he would find it so frustrating he wouldn't be able to bear it. UFO Disclosure 2022 UAP report delayed. Steve Mumbling says, why don't you do a video about exactly why you so desperately want all this VET visitation nonsense to be true? Well, I have done, Steve. I've done several. Check out my energy, politics and UFO videos. Check out my my history of exopolitics videos. Let's check out which one. I think I did one that's replying to you. Which ones? There's one called Free Energy and 9/11. We reply to Steve Mumbling. Where are we now? There's ET Disclosure, I replied to Steve Mumbling. 2021, I replied to Steve Mumbling. Roswell, I replied to Steve Mumbling. And there's quite a number of videos I've already made answering that question. Oh, that's the last one. Okay, guys, so you know what we do now is we go to BitChute. So what I'm going to do with BitChute this time, I'm actually going to go to, what I'm going to do this time, I'm actually going to go to the, I know I've got some old comments on old videos, so I'm going to go to the videos I made since the last one. I'm actually going to go through, first of all, the more recent videos I've made since the last comments reply video, including the comments reply video 66. So, no comments on that one. Well, it's had 74 views, which is not bad. Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever film review. Neon Floyd says, right, okay, Neon Floyd, I can't actually, he's basically put a he's basically put a link to a freebie on here, which I'm not going to describe to you because I'm out of respect for the copyright owner. It's actually a BitChute link, which means it'll have been deleted by. Thing is, like BitChute are now deleting, they're deleting the freebies on things which breach copyright, so that link is probably dead anyway. But Neon Floyd, I'm not actually going to repeat that particular link. And we have here White Plus USA. Says that disgusting movie is totally anti-white, hateful garbage. No, so White USO, have you seen it? It's not. No, this is, I actually went into this film expecting to see that. I mean, well, the first one certainly. I went in expecting to agree with you because that's what everyone was telling me it was. They said, Ben, it's all anti-white, it's politically correct, it's etc. Hateful against white people, etc. But you know what? It's not. It's considerably less so than most other films I've seen, so I think you're wrong there. I don't know if you've actually seen the film. If so, I'd be curious to know why you think that. If you think it is anti-white hateful garbage, could you explain why? If you think I've missed something here, could you let me know? Thanks. Okay, next video is Ghost Watch 30. I actually copy all my live streams over to BitChute so people can watch them there, and I've got no comments on that. Alright, so do the comments appear on here anyway? One sec. It's hourglassing. So it sometimes comments are the last things to appear on it when it's hourglassing. That's the problem. Because they do it and they take a while to load these pages. Nope, nothing there. Alright, so now we have Artemis 1 live stream. We got one comment. Oops. It plays automatically on BitChute as well, which means I have to press pause. Beyond the Gates says, "Wake up!" Oh, sorry. Was I dozing? Actually, I need to sleep some more. We have UFO Disclosure 2022 UAP report delayed. No comments. Moment of Contact Watch Party live stream. I've got quite a few here. We've got Rapture Days, who says here, "When these things begin." More details on prophetic signs with Tyler Gen 2432 and Pete Garcia proof of end times. Let's have a look. What's this? Oh, it's a video called "When These Things Begin" by a channel called Rapture Days.
Yeah, they're busy.
I'll give that a
busy. Things are life
I'll give
is
that
busy.
a sub. I'll give the channel a sub because I'm quite interested in things like that. You know, if you've ever seen my Apocalypse video, you'll know all about that. So yeah, Rapture Days. You might like my Apocalypse videos. Actually, it's on my channel here. We have here someone called Guyuya. That sounds like a character from. From Black Panther. Turkish bombing of American soldiers. What's this here? There's a link here. All right. It looks like there's something that my antivirus is objecting to, so I'm not going to go any further with that. Right, now we have my review of the film. I'll have to call. I can't actually say the title. Well, I'll use the title, the fake title, the sort of placeholder title I used in the comedy notice. Expired without warning. My review of Expired Without Warning. Wayland, good one, Ben. Thank you. You're welcome, Wayland. And we have here, we have a long comment here from Augustus Berg, aka Not Sure, not spelt with a K. Got 3 replies to that, and we have, here we go. Expired Without Warning documentary is misleadingly a country I can't mention, intelligence and military produced, distributed by the C word, V word. Meanwhile, this documentary is making it seem like a country I can't mention is trying to give us some sort of fact. It's deceptively trying to make like this country is trying to tell the truth and expose the V word. Yet they created it, they promoted it, they pushed it, they forced it, etc. This is actually an attack on truth. Stu Peters is an actor, a shitty one, but he's an actor. Controlled opposition. There's a reason he went from YouTube to Netflix in 1 year, while the majority of us lost our channels and weren't allowed to post anything. And let's have a look here. What's this? It's a link. What's it?
On WhiteHouse.gov.
Oh, what's this? Hang on. This is Not Sure on YouTube. Right. I don't know how you have a YouTube channel, mate. But anyway, Not Sure. Augustus Berg, Not Sure. I don't know why. There's no evidence for it, though. I mean, there's no evidence that this particular country is involved in creating and exposing the V word. I mean, in fact, that nation is only mentioned once, and it actually refers to the very high death rate that occurred among its citizens when the V word was actually tested on was first rolled out in the country. This is a country with only has about 6 million people in its population. It's a very small country. And 100 people died in the first week. Now, if it created it, promoted, pushed it, forced it, seems weird that they are actually doing this. I mean, as you know, this particular country is very keen on supporting the immigration agenda, except for their own nation. They won't have any immigrants themselves. So, I think it's a bit baffling what you're saying here. Wayland actually says here, hardly. And Not Sure says hardly what. And Wayland said, obsession with controlled opposition. Yeah, so, some people are, Wayland. They are utterly, they think everyone's a shill. It's like, unfortunately, Richard D. Hall is like this. You disagree with them. Oh, this person is compromised. Obsession with controlled opposition. Stu Peters likes to sensationalise because that's his very effective method of getting the message across. People in the media, even on our side, have to operate in a very difficult environment. For instance, you and I can talk about something, 2 words I can't say, on BitChute without any problems. But if we had a huge audience gained by sensationalizing the message, perhaps, then such ideas would be out of bounds. Well, I wouldn't use rude words to describe people, Wayland. I think that's wrong. But there you go. You're basically attacking the messenger for a skewed way in which they need to deliver the message to a large audience. We pretty much know that Shady Nook was some kind of controlled event, but people at different levels as to how weird it was. Alex Jones was really quite mild and compared it to people who saw satanic symbolism and black magic, yet he got stung for nearly $1 billion. Yeah, and all that, all the apologies he gave, Wayland, all the apologies he gave got him nowhere, didn't they? He might as well just stuck by his guns rather than like backtracking. Lots of people saying there's no such thing as an illness who reject anyone on our side who thinks the C word was brewed up in a lab. That's true. There's a lot of divisions there. Or even anyone who says they caught the C word. I'm one of these people. I actually believe the C word exists. I've had it. That doesn't mean I disagree with the people who say the C word is being used for the New World Order and to bring in totalitarian government. I don't disagree with those people at all, and I don't believe the response is justified. This is clearly an unreasonable position because V words, that is the contagion, are invisible and hard to detect, but people also come down with illnesses they seem to have been infected with. Maybe these contagions don't exist, but because they are invisible, you can't be so bold as to know that for a fact, to reject anyone who claims to have become ill from one. Correct. I mean, the thing is, like, people know what it's like. So you're with someone, you sit down on the bus next to someone who's sneezing and coughing, and you think, that bastard's got a cold, and I'm going to bust that. I bet I'm going to bloody well catch it now. And you know, you do, don't you? They do something in these biolabs, and I would guess they could brew up something to be used as C word while creating a panic to get a real bioweapon injected as a V word. Well, isn't that exactly what they did in Utopia? That's exactly the plot of Utopia, both the Channel 4 and the Amazon ones. Stu Peters and David Icke and Alex Jones are in the truth movement business. I'm not a communist, so see nothing wrong with them running their activities as a business. Exactly, Wayne. Exactly. Yes, quite right. I quite agree. So you said a number of things here. I think you're right about some of it. I wouldn't use the language that you're using at times. I think we use derogatory language at times, which I wouldn't use. But you know, your actual text here is actually pretty good. I think the points you made here are pretty good. So thanks for that long and detailed comment there. Okay, so that's all of the expired without warning. So what's next? Well, that's it. Just the expired without warning. So on to Odyssey. Oh no. Oh, hang on a sec. Ben. What about all the other comments? Yes, I did have a comment on another video. I remember. Which was it? I had a comment on another video. Let me just refresh the page. I had a comment on an old video. I didn't make a note of it, but it will actually be on this list. I've got over 800. So I am getting my eyes sorted. Oh, I'm getting an eye test done. Here it is. It's white people, a reply to Christy Winters. It's an old video. This is a classic from. Right, this is a classic one I did in, when was it? 2020, June 2020. Right in the heart of the lockdown. Okay, we have Melvin Sherman, who says, I am mixed on this video. Right. I don't know what you mean by mixed. Do you have different opinions on it? What exactly do you mean by mixed, Melvin? If you think I'm right about some things, good. If you think I'm wrong about something else, let me know. Please do. Feel free to put more comments in the comments box. Funny if I didn't get any reply from Christy. She's bound to have seen it, but I didn't get any replies from her. She loves to get into debate, so I'm quite surprised. Do you know what? Christy Winters is bloody following me on Twitter. I can't believe it. What's she do? I mean, I followed her for a while. I followed her for a couple of years. You know, she's hate follows, like I was saying. But I looked at her and what happened was I was actually, she was in a debate with Microdosing Media, and I sort of put a couple of comments on there. And next thing I know, she's bloody following me. Christy Winters is following, because she may have seen that I was following her. She's following back. I mean, does she know what she's let herself in for? My goodness me. She hasn't contacted me apart from that. Okay, I'm just going through these comments here. I think that's the only one, but I'm just going to go through them just in case. Now, luckily, I can very easily see when a comment appears on BitChute, because you get like there's a thing that says new video in a big red kind of tic-tac shaped thing, but then when it says new comment, it's slightly bigger and it's quite easy to spot. So I'm going through this now. Oh, I need reading glasses, man. I need reading glasses. So this does take a while, because there's over 800 of these I've got to scroll through, but we'll get there in the end, ladies and gents. Play amongst yourselves. I'll try to entertain you with casual chit-chat, like I always do. You know, Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, she saw a UFO. Stanton Friedman taught me that. It's a good interview with old Stan. He's cool, and bless him. I miss Stan. Stanton Friedman is. When he died, it was like the end of an era. It really was. It was the end of an era. And that's it. Okay, we come to the end. I think that's it. Just go back through these things. Yeah, bloody. Go back up, just do a quick scroll, a very fast scroll up using the sidebar, just to double check. That's it, and then that's it for BitChute. We can go on to Odyssey, and then Rumble. Rumble. I've actually got an old one on. I actually did manage to capture the old Odyssey clip. That's it. Okay. That's it, guys. Okay, so I'll say here, mark all as read. I must remember to do this. Delete all. Delete all. And delete all. All is deleted. Yes, all is deleted. Right then, guys. So where are we now? Right, on to Odyssey. And then we're nearly finished actually now, because Odyssey, these things don't take very long. So on to Odyssey. Now I'll do the recent videos first, and then I'll go on to old videos. Maybe, a couple of people will have commented, Shelley of the Red, and several other people often comment on my videos. So I do get a nice what's this here? Oh right, here's an old one. Oh, this is on Georgia Guidestone's live stream. We have here someone called Monty's Thinking Outside the Box, and he says, "Great channel. I put you on follow. Could you please do the same for me? Thank you." Well, thank you very much for that. I'll just have a look at your channel first. I'm not going to do. It depends what your channel's like. I mean, these things aren't unconditional. Let's have a look. Content. Oh, brilliant! Oh, this looks brilliant. This looks. Let me just have a look at this. Yes, this looks very good. This looks just up my street. So, yep, it's got the B word unbeing. David Icke, George Soros. Oh, yep. Okay, mate. Yes, I am following you. There you go. You are. It's great. I will follow you in that case. Okay. So I'll just put a little reply here. And now I'll just go to my recent content here. I'll just go to current. Let me just go to current notifications. Okay. There are comments on recent ones. I can already see them in here. Okay, so right. Channels. Ben the Jow Porter. Content. Right then, guys. Okay, so reply to comment 66. Oh, Shelley of the Red. Hey, Shelley. How you doing? Oh, I've already replied to her, but she says, good feedback, Ben. Hospital Porter's pride and... She's good feedback, Ben, and I do hope this backfires on the BBC with people instead finding some of his work. That's Richard D. Hall. Some of it is very good. Take care over there. Thanks, I say thanks, Shelley. You too. Let's hope it. No one deserves to have their plan. No one deserves to have their plans backfire more than a BB bloody C. Yeah. Shelley actually did a very good analysis of Richard D. Hall and his personality, which I think is very accurate considering she's American and wouldn't necessarily understand everything that we understand as Britons, so I was impressed with that. Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever film review. One comment from from someone called they've removed. It's okay. I don't know why this it says here removed as if the channel has been removed, but the comment is still here. White people still not allowed to see this? Not that you can worry about the large population spending any money to watch this pile of shit. No, it's the white people are allowed to watch it. There was a silly academic from some university who said, "Could white people please not watch this film in its opening weekend?" And and of course that was to me was a provocation to do it. Because I think that's a horrible thing. So I kind of went along it. I went along deliberately in its opening weekend for that reason. But as it turned out, no one was taking that seriously, as this woman shouldn't be taken seriously. Okay. Now we have Ghostwatch 30 live stream. No comments. Artemis 1 live stream. No comments. UFO disclosure 2022 UAP report delayed. No comments. Moment of contact watch party live stream. No comments. And finally, expired without warning review. I'm bound to get someone here. Oh, I've had 2 comments on here, yeah. Oh, we got Diego Rivera. Oh! Israel Diego Rivera Genius 2, the real genius, is on Odyssey. Well done, Diego Rivera. The rest of you should follow, or get onto Alt-Tech, get Alt-Tech accounts, get onto Odyssey, get onto Minds, get onto MeWe. Don't put all your eggs in the mainstream social media basket. But Israel, he says here, stop the New World Order, fist pump, yes. And I put underneath, with brass knobs on. Okay, guys, that's Odyssey done. Oh, no, it's not. It's not quite. No, it's not quite. I've got a bit more here. All right, yes, I have here on Odyssey. Where are we now? Yes, I have... Oh, I have Michael Shermer update. Yes, this is an old video on Odyssey. Now, whenever these things appear on Odyssey, all right, for those of you who want to upload and create content, the actual notifications only. It's not like BitChute where they go all the way back down as long as you want them. They only go back 10 days, which means if you see a comment on one of your old videos, you need to preserve it, and I've done that. Now, what I found is the easiest way to deal with this, because BitChute's search function is ridiculous, is to go to just go to what's it called? Sorry, I was confused there for a moment because I've had a bit of trouble. I somehow put the library. I put the bloody library link in, which I shouldn't have done. Update. Hang on. Because it's like library's now gone. I know library's gone. Okay, I'm just going to fiddle here for a minute. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I was confused. I was just distracted there by this problem. Okay, in the situation for me, because I have the HPANWO TV blog, which I'm glad I've got, the quickest thing is simply to go to the HPANWO TV blog. And that way I can find the links I need to find. I don't have to use Odyssey's search function. It's not very good when it comes to channel searching. There you go. Alright. I'll just preview that quickly. That's fine. So I'll just update that particular link. And there we go. So I'll just refresh it. It should change. There we go. Right. Now onto the comments. This is Michael Shermer Update. It's a video I uploaded to Odyssey 2021. I actually did it a little bit before that anyway. But William Runner says, awesome story, thanks. Oh, you're welcome, William. You're very welcome. Let's have a look at your channel. Oh, sorry, wrong. Edit that. Well, got to remember, what you put back on your clipboard. You put the timestamp back on your clipboard, Ben. I know, right. Okay, let me just edit this. So I'll put the timestamp back on my clipboard. So, William, let's have a look at your channel, William. See what that's like. William Runner. Oh, no content. Okay. Right. So that is that. Is there anything else on Odyssey? Let's have a look. Oh, I've got a moment. I've got the live stream notice. I actually had a comment on. I had a couple of comments on the live stream notice from the Moment of Contact live stream, which unfortunately I didn't mention them on the show, and I deleted the actual notice. So I've actually preserved the comments here. And they are someone called XYZ and some symbols said find love here. That's obviously a spammer. Then user 1 says in reply to that, no. And then Marley Pumpkin says yet more and has a poo mark. Oh great. Yeah, but Marley Pumpkin, you keep watching, don't you? You keep bloody watching. What you expect? Marley Pumpkin hates me but just can't stop watching me. That's hilarious. On to Rumble, guys. I have actually had a comment on Rumble. I know because I preserved it just in case, because sometimes things on Rumble disappear. Okay, but let's go through all these comments anyway. Now I know where the comment is. The comment is on... Oh, it's on the RDH Panorama live stream. Okay, so back down to reply to comment 68. No comments. And is that the Panorama live stream's actually before, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll have to go back, scroll down a little bit. It's like that's a historic comment on a historic video. Okay, Sunflower Express says it's a disgusting witch hunt. Trying to make him into trying to make him the UK's Alex Jones. To advance their agenda. Never trusted that Sanders guy. Always seemed a bit iffy and polished like an operative. Thought I was always a bit harsh on him, but obviously I wasn't. Trust your instincts. They are there for our protection. Well, Sunflower Express instincts are indeed there for your protection. You should trust them. They want to. Yeah, you say that you compare Richard to Alex Jones, and that's exactly what they're doing. They use it. They're basically repeating the same model. I mean, I haven't heard any news about a lawsuit against Richard, but it'll probably come about at some point. They'll find some way of doing it. They're very, very resourceful, and of course, the whole entire establishment is on their side. Neil Sanders. I mean, I think it's about Neil. I mean, Neil. I don't distrust Neil because I think he's dishonest as such, but I think he's gone over to the dark side. I don't feel any resentment to him for that. I still listen to what he has to say. But I think he's making a big mistake, and the biggest mistake he's made recently is having anything to do with the BBC. I think he actually wanted to help Richard out, and it didn't work. And he's foolish to even think that would work. And what the hell was he thinking? Why did he think that would work? God knows. Anyway, Ghostwatch 30 live stream. For some reason, I can't get the bloody... They won't let me put like a thumbnail on it. I don't know why. It's a selected one. Anyway, no comments. Artemis 1 live stream. Oh, I've had 2 comments on here. That's nice. Oh, it's Bilbo again. It's Bilbo 2000. Have you seen Gina Marie's video on YouTube? She believes there's some... Oh, right. I've got to just add a few... I've got to add a few marks here because... Rumble doesn't let me post the same comment twice, which means my notice, my reply notices don't work normally. She says, have you seen Gina Marie video? I know who Bilbo is on Facebook. She believes there was some kind of projectiles fired towards the dragon and showed it on video. She thinks there were several anomalies during the takeoff when it left Earth orbit. She's quite a character, but sometimes she does search out some thought-provoking stuff. And I haven't, but you put another comment here, Bilbo, saying her name is Gina Marie Colvin Hill. The title is... is Space Dragon was launched, and I think... Oh, you've got a link here, okay. Sounds familiar, Gina Marie Colvin Hill. Let's just have a look at her. See if I can find her. There's a link anyway. Yeah, here we are, SpaceX Dragon.
This is the #1 gift this holiday season.
Okay, I'm gonna... Gina Marie... Oh, I'm subscribed to her. So... Oh, I know who you mean. Yes, I know who this lady is. Yes, I know who this lady is. She does loads of very interesting videos, yes. She's very nice. Yes, I like her a lot. She's very sweet. This is her. You may have seen her. I mean, this is her. She does... Her videos are quite popular. She does like Gina Marie Colvin Hill, and her channel. I'm already subbed to her channel. Here we are. She does loads of things about rockets and moon rocks, light ships on standby. Yeah, Ezekiel's wheel. Something about an island there. Yes, interesting stuff. Thanks very much, Bilbo. Thank you. I do sub to her, so I'd probably have seen that at some point. She is a lovely character, yes, and she makes me laugh too. So thank you for that on the art. Thank you for that, Bilbo. Bilbo 2000, much appreciated. UFO Disclosure 2022 UAP report delayed. No comments. This is an old video. Which I can't actually say what it is, but it is on my Rumble channel. It's actually the video that was banned from YouTube for hate speech. when there's no hatred in it at all. Surprisingly, I've had no comments on it. There you go. Moment of Contact Watch Party. That's an old video I made in, I think, 2015. Moment of Contact Watch Party live stream. No comments. Again, I couldn't select a thumbnail for this, which is annoying. And of course, finally, expired without warning review. Oh, I've had Bilbo here. Bilbo 2000 has put another video comment on here. Okay. Oops. No. That's the link. That's the link that she sent me. I've got to go back and get the old tag, haven't I? Come on, Ben. Keep it together. Alright, I posted the comment for 1, 2. There we go. No, I posted that one before. How about this? 4. I posted that before too. 5. I'm just putting like dots after it now. Bilbo says, this is a really good film. It covers everything, especially for those people who are just waking up. Glad to see that so many people seem to be sharing it on social media so that it gets circulated. Yeah, Bilbo, it has proliferated beyond any attempt to shut it down now, hasn't it? I'm very pleased to see that too, Bilbo. Lots of this, most of us have already seen over the last couple of years now. Yeah, a lot of the information I'm already familiar with. She says, but having said that, when it is seen all together, it's really powerful. My thoughts exactly, Bilbo. I'm familiar with a lot of the information, but watching it in film format like this really kind of, it crystallized it, it solidified it inside me. They could have shown a lot of coverage of the hundreds of sports people who have died, and maybe that would have made it even more dramatic. Well, there's so much they could have showed and didn't because they didn't want the film to go on forever. The skeptics are saying, well, you know, they're showing people dropping dead. Well, people do drop dead, you know. But how do you know they've had the V word? Yes, but how do you know they haven't? You see, there's no causal link here. Firstly, in those videos, there's no established cause here. But at the same time, we see it happening more and more. So it's the statistics that count. And that's what the skeptics are trying to distract from. So thank you very much for that, Bilbo. Much appreciated. And that is all of Rumble's video. So I'm just going to go back to channel comments. I'm just going to do a quick refresh to see if any comments have been posted while I've been recording this particular video. Okay. Oh, all right. Yes, I do. We have Michael Snow on reply to comment 66. 14 minutes. Hang on. What's this? Cheek Chili John Kame's channel, Kame S channel for a TV license. What's this? Hang on. Check, not cheek. Check. Oh, that 14 minutes. That means it's when I was talking about TV licenses. Check Chili John Kame. I think you mean Chili John Carney. I think I know him for anything TV license related. Yes. Chili John Carney. Yes, it's this one. I think I know this video. Oh, where is it? Oh, bloody YouTube. This is what I mean about YouTube search, how it's gone completely downhill. I posted Chili. Sorry, I've actually spelt it the right way. What's his name? Check. Here we go. Jilly Concarney. Thing is, I put in the right name. I'll just double check it's the right name. Chili. I'm getting it wrong. Sorry, it's Chili John. Shit, hang on. Get it right, Ben. Jilly Chon Carney. Okay, so that's exact. I don't use the autocorrect. Alright, okay, I spoke too soon. It's not that bad. Chili John Carney. This is him, yeah.
Now, many people out there still believe that if you...
Yeah, I've seen him before. Yeah, I'm gonna sub to him because I've actually watched a couple of these videos. Yeah, they've got a TV license letter, MP's claim. Yeah, he's kind of an anti-New World Order person. Yeah, good guy. So thanks for that, Michael Snow. Much appreciated. Okay, I'll just do another refresh. I'm also going to go to YouTube notifications because there may be some comments on that haven't appeared on my list of channel comments, so I'll go to those now. So I'll just refresh this particular page. Make sure I don't miss a single one. And I'll go to this. Okay, so we have here... Oh, we have Black Circle replied on here we go. This is on 66, replied to comment 66. And he says, thanks, pal. Oh, Black Circle. You're very welcome, Black Circle. I'll just put a quick thing in there, and that's it. I'll give you a love heart too. Alright, so thanks very much, Black Circle. The Black Circle just says thanks, pal. I say you're very welcome, Black Circle. Okay, one more refresh, and then that's it. Just do a refresh. Okay, that's it. Right. Okay. So thanks very much, everyone. That's the end of this comments reply video 67. Now, I'm not going to convert these video files into something smaller. You may notice the quality of the images in my reply to comments videos is lower than normal. That's because this OBS tends to produce these huge files of 6 GB or something. And I thought that maybe my video pad editor couldn't handle it, but I've done other videos. I've actually used other videos with this sized this sized files. And it seems to handle it fine. So I'm gonna see if it actually works with these sized files. If it doesn't, I will convert them. But it'd be better if we have a nice quality image instead of the sort of like quite broken image that I used previously. All right, so hope that makes it better. But thank you very much, all of you, for your comments. It's self-explanatory. But literally, this video would not happen. It would not happen if it weren't for your comments. So I really do appreciate them. Even some of the rude ones were quite funny. So thanks for those as well. It gives me a chance to have a good laugh with you. After all, you know, I'm a big, ugly ex-hospital porter. I'm not put off by rudeness. And I'll see you for the next video, which will be... Oh, I've got some... Well, it's Christmas coming soon, isn't it? So I've got a Christmas watch party planned. I'll be doing the introduction to that pretty soon. And, yeah, I've got an idea for something else as well, which I'll reveal to you when I do it. It may well be my next video, which will probably won't be till the weekend now. I'm kind of tied up now for the rest of the week, but, well, it's already Monday night, so that won't be long. It'll take you longer than that, probably, to watch this video. So, thank you all of you for watching HPANWO TV yet again. This is the 67th comments reply video. Hospital Porters, pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order.